There once was a game that we all played. The name of the game was Heroscape. Grenades blew up, the swords dipped down. Go Drake Alexander, go! Soon may the Heroscape come to give us dragons and aerodromes. Maybe the game is done, but will zombies rise again? There once was a game that we all played. The name of the game was Heroscape. The sails blew up, pretend went down. Oh no, where did our game go? Soon may the Heroscape come to give us dragons and aerodromes. Maybe the game is done, but will zombies rise again? There once was a game that we all played. The name of the game was Heroscape. The sails blew up, retail went down. Oh no, where did our game go? Soon may the Heroscape come to give us dragons and aerodromes. Maybe the game is done, but will zombies rise again? Heroscapers took up the mantle with their own minds, yes they could handle building C3D waves. We lit a candle, but Hope and Escape revival was low. Soon may the Heroscape rise. Renegade was a great surprise. One day when new Heroscape comes, we will take our dice and roll. Then one day, hitting like a laser, Avalon Hill produced a trailer. Annihilation was very clever, Joe Crazy's mind was blown. Soon may the Heroscape rise. Yes, AOA was a great surprise. One day when Renegade is done, we will take our dice and roll. Painful failure was in our view. We pressed forward with no hope renewed. We played our Heroscape anyway, and now Heroscape will return. Soon may the Heroscape rise. Yes, AOA was a great surprise. One day when the unboxing is done, we will take our dice and roll. Now Heroscape will be back again to play all day with our good friends. Valhalla is where we will go to face the battle of all time. Soon will the Heroscape rise. Yes, AOA was a great surprise. One day when the painting is done, we will take our dice and roll. Soon will the Heroscape rise. Yes, AOA was a great surprise. One day Renegade will be done, and we'll take our dice and roll. Then we will take our dice and roll.
Welcome to ToV Live. It is Valhalla time. Who's that guest? I don't know. We're gonna find out. We're gonna find out probably in a little bit. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the ToV podcast, episode 61, where we're going to be recapping Wave 3 of Heroscape. And I don't even know how we're going to cover it in one night. I have no idea, but we'll go through some of the fine points, some of the negative points. Yeah, really fast. That's exactly right. I'm Ryan, aka Tales of Valhalla, and with me tonight on the panel, for starters, we have Jeremy, the Alessian Cullet here. We have Sir Roguescaper. We have Jason Rock Robotics, and we have a new guest, first time on the stream tonight, although not the main attraction, but still a great content creator. And I'll give you a second, Josh, to say something, but I just want to show something. Who's that Pokemon? Or who's that guest? I'm sorry. But yeah, okay. Well, we're going to be talking about an additional guest that's going to be hopping on later. Or if someone wants to take a guess in the chat who it is, I'll leave the suspense up for now. No, if you already know, no. No guess for you. Anyway,
I have a good guess. Yeah, I can pretend that I don't know and say everything wrong.
But Anyway, this is Josh, aka Ranger of the North, is his YouTube channel, aka Ranger. Welcome, Josh. Go ahead, since this is your first time on the podcast. Why don't you introduce yourself, and link in the description below already for his YouTube channel if you want to check out a couple of his videos and give him a subscription. Please go and introduce yourself, sir.
Well, thank you so much. I'm Josh from Rangers of the East. Because my Discord is Ranger of Athelian, but that's copyrighted, so I went as close as I could. But so I've been playing Heroscape for I've been playing Scape for a long time, I guess a decade now. I got it back after the game was discontinued, but I found some of the expansions really cheap. I think I paid $3 for Swarm of the Morrow New, which was pretty nice. And then so from there, the real money pit began, though, because then it's like, wow, okay, I've got to get all this other stuff.
The common stuff.
So I've got this tub behind me. I've just, it builds over the years. But I've played the game on and off a lot, and I love it a lot. But I also come from like Warhammer and Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings, so I have a big fascination with lore. So my channel tries to deal with like tying together the lore into like the armies that you play. So you see that with stuff that I've already made, and then you'll continue to see that in content that I'm producing at the moment. So yeah, thank you so much for having me on the show tonight.
Yeah, no, glad you can be here finally, because I know we've been trying to get you on sometime. So it's good for you to join us. Yeah, it's Rangers of the East, not Rangers of the North. Sorry about that.
Yes.
But yeah, definitely.
I was like, there's a different direction.
Yeah.
Said, and I'm like,
I am very.
The Rangers are running and they don't know.
I've been told this before by people. I am directionally challenged, so
you're fine. No, I messed up today too because I tried to say west and I said east, and I was like, wow, I went the complete wrong, like absolute opposite way. So yeah, you're fine.
Head west.
And thank you so much, Jeremy, for that raid. And hello, Red Plus Blue. They're in the Twitch chat. It says, glad to finally be able to catch a stream live. Well, welcome. Glad that you could join us tonight. It is a very special night, guys. It's gonna be really, really fun. Again, I'm not gonna say what additional guests we're gonna have in about like half hour or so. They're gonna hop on the stream. But again, here I'm gonna and those of you, and again, shout out to those who listen on Spotify. What I'm showing basically, this is like it's like a thumbnail. It says who's that guest, and then the outline of a person, just for our audio listeners out there. So you kind of in on the joke, but you'll find out soon enough. And again, thank you everybody who listens on Spotify and all the Audioverse stuff out there. That community keeps on growing. There's people listening, growing. It's a wonderful thing. So thank everybody out there again for that. Yeah, we have things to cover and talk about when it comes to Wave 3. This was I still can't process everything. I haven't even tried.
It's a lot.
I went through like some of the stuff. But in order to be like genuinely like surprised, because usually when they announce these waves, I usually read through everything so I understand it on a stream. But since we have ToV podcast just days after it, I just didn't have time to do that. So I'll be doing that this Wednesday. So I mean, I've skimmed through stuff. I know the basics of some stuff and what we're talking about, but in depth, not too much yet. But it's a lot. But before we do that, before we get started with that, we do have some comments to go through from the last podcast, which was a lore podcast, reading through some of Thorman's journal. And we do have some comments here. So let me get these up here. We'll tackle these. And they're gonna appear. Hello, Justin. Justin says, I'm not going to spoil it, but as a Patreon member, I already know who the special guest is, and it's a good one. Looking forward to a great show. Thank you, Justin.
So
thank you for your support.
As far as we know, everybody knows who it is, but there's nobody in the chat that doesn't know who it is yet.
Yeah, well, we got 13 people. We got 13 people chiming in to the stream so far.
We're all just like, who doesn't know? We're like, wait.
Yeah, actually, that's actually the question we should be asking. Who doesn't know? Because I've said it off and on. Who's gonna? Anyway, okay.
That's hilarious.
Let me get this up here. real quick. Okay, I
I
get
love
this. Got to press some buttons in order to get the right window. And comments from last time, which is actually mostly just all about Jeremy, really. Got a lot of people congratulating Jeremy on his job. So, first comment here
I know
is-
that was really nice.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. By the
Yeah.
way, that was like general. I want to cover huge thank you for that, because that I've been going through some rough stuff, and that made me smile.
For sure.
It made my heart full. So thank you.
And again, it's like link in description below for like Jeremy's channel and everything. If you can give him support, please give him support. We are struggling content creators, and if you can support him in any
Economy
way,
is eating us.
yeah,
being
do your best with them, because some of us are struggling more than others, for sure. But okay, so Shinobi Mystic says here, this is gold. One of the reasons I had such a hard time getting excited about Heroscape is I never knew the lore. It is so important for me. What are the motivations for each figure and factions? What's MTG? Sorry.
Magic the Gathering.
Magic the Gathering. Okay, Magic the Gathering has so much lore, and that is another reason why I play Arena of the Planeswalkers. Love the episode. Thanks for putting this together. Yes, and we try to do lore podcasts as often as we can, and we'll still continue it. And the cool thing is too, Ranger Josh here, he is a little bit into lore as well. So at times when Jeremy might not possibly in, we do kind of have a lore. How would I put it? And a lore apprentice.
Understudy.
A lore apprentice.
I like understudy. Cool.
Understudy, yeah, that works too. So yeah, we'll be able to probably cover that a little bit more often and have a lot more fun with that, more opinions. So we'll see.
Absolutely.
I mean, Josh, we do need to talk with you after the show for sure.
I do. So this is obviously without saying anything specific, but the fun thing about my job, as it stands, as I've been able to do so far, is codify things. So I do want to put it out there that my primary goal right now and what I've been working on is making sure the lore is set in stone. So hopefully at some point you're going to be able to open a book or something, website, be like, type in the story of Heroscape, and it will be one thing, and you won't have to like go on the Internet Archive and figure this all out. And that's the plan. We're making sure everybody has a chance to learn all this stuff. Because it's like, I mean, we don't want you having to dig through the Internet Archive. It's getting DDoSed right now. Like, you literally can't even go on it. So you can't even go on the Heroscape website. So this lore, it keeps fizzling in and out of history. And we want to make a easy way for newer players and veteran players to have access to that information that we all had back in 04 to 010. Don't have anymore.
Jeremy, hint.
And then
What about just a big
into
honkin' lore book?
AOA,
You know? With pictures and photos and like maybe like a leather bound.
The worker is willing. The work must be assigned.
Yeah, I get it.
Y'all got to bug Hasbro with that now, because now they have someone hired for it.
Exactly.
Now you got to bug Hasbro.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Shinobi Mystic, for that comment, and yeah, thank you so much. And then we got G Busy there saying,
thank you so much. That helps a lot.
Dude, congrats, Jeremy. Well deserved, man. Renegade needs a lot of help from what I've seen in regards to lore so far. LOL. Yes, well, hopefully that gets better.
I'll pin it real quick. And I did mention it before in the last stream, but just to reiterate, do not forget, they did not get any of the lore context from 202.
This is a good thing to know.
Everything that we learned about AOA never made it to them. Everything that they got was the miniatures.
Everything that was in Nado's head.
NATO's head is in NATO's head. That content is unique to the Avalon Hill experience, and I'm asking you if you just got to remember as a foundational experience, but not as the canon. The canon is being established right now by Renegade. We have the minis, but we don't have the lore. The lore is being writ right now. We're creating it as it stands. That's why people are feeling that dissonance, because they're attached to Chris Nadeau's work, and that was prototype. That was not the official product. It did not come out. That story did not come out. Okay. The story that's out now is the story. That's the Age of Annihilation story. That makes sense. Rising Tide, current story.
Right. A lot of minis.
That's my quip. I won't talk anymore.
No, that's fine.
But it's like, for everyone that's saying, well, lore needs help. I'm like, no, they didn't have anything. They didn't have it.
Lore needs to be built, basically.
It has to be built. Yes, exactly. That's a good one. Lore has to be cool.
And it needed to anyway, so because it's just fragmented bit of like.
And it was left behind for 14 years and for 3 writers and 2 studios. Yeah, no, it is all over the place. Guaranteed.
And then, so thank you so much, G Busy, for the comment. And then Justin
thank you.
says, Jeremy, congratulations on the job. I'm looking forward to the snowy evergreen trees and loving the trees from Grove at Lars Edge. But now I want to see the bleakwood trees on a table someday. Heroscape is back. Yes, it is. Absolutely. Absolutely. So thank you so much, Justin, for that comment. And let's see, I'm going to stop sharing because I'm taking my ball and going home. Oh, I'm kidding. All right. So now what we're going to do is let's start talking. And okay. Justin says in the chat, I would instantly buy a Heroscape lore book. I would too.
Yeah.
I mean, instantly. Just, and especially if it had the aesthetic, like leather bound type of thing. That's just like, you know, it just, you know, that would be amazing. I mean, obviously it's got to come together.
Wow.
But
yeah, you can't see because of the camera.
Can't see.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I'm like throwing this blank screen at the screen like it makes any sense. Hang on.
And hello, Jack, there in the chat. Hello. Good to see you. Good to see you on the chat.
There you go, better. Okay. No, it didn't let me. Why didn't?
Is it because you're still tied into your Twitch stream? I don't know if that would. Ah, there you go.
No,
yeah, look at that. See, something like
it's
that.
because I used the Discord background for the Heroscape. This is Final Fantasy XIV's lore book.
There you go.
309 pages, right? Full color illustrations of every continent, detailed for our weapons, monsters, dungeons.
Like that,
This could be a thing for Heroscape.
Even if it takes like
there's that much context in the game,
even if it takes 3 to 5 years, I'm willing to wait 3 to 5 years.
I'll be here for the 3 to 5
Take your time.
Like,
exactly.
I made the joke. This might be a little morbid. Bear with me, but I made the joke. I have a reason to stay alive now because of lore contract. I have to, and so I'm like,
you have duties
I can't
to fulfill, sir.
I have duties to fulfill, so beat back the plagues and earthquakes now because I got to get the lore done. But yeah, trust me, if it takes 3 to 5 years, I'll be here for it. I got you. I got the context. I got the history. I got the experience. We'll definitely work on something. Hopefully, we'll see. But again, I am not the product person. That's Lee. So if there are things you want.
Speaking of product, though, how about we start diving into Wave 3 then? Because this is going to take a minute and a half. Let me start sharing a screen so we can actually kind of see here what we need to see. And I honestly don't know where to start on this, but here, let's just bring this up. Voila. Here is the window. So, okay, I'm on like Story Arc Rising Tide, but do we want to do the promo miniatures first? Or I mean, Joe's not on here yet, so I know he's in love with the Major.
He likes the full brush, yeah. So.
Yeah, so we might want to wait. I don't even know where Joe is, but we'll give him some time. We'll do those last. I guess I'll start by just saying, in general, there are so much bugs that I don't even know what to do with myself. So if we want to start there,
talk about that.
let's talk about bugs.
We have. So now we're in trouble because this is what I'm seeing. We have a podcast audience or a podcast group of 2 individuals now possessed by hives. That's concerning. I think we should talk about our affiliations.
I don't know if I'm mind
shackled.
shackled.
This podcast specifically.
I don't know if I'm mind shackled or
I know
if I'm just
Maladris can't
bowing
mind
down.
shackle, but you seem to be really loyal to her
You
regardless.
just have a bug waiting to burst from your chest.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there you go. You're one of the Festering Honor Guard. That's it. You're.
I'll get the T-shirt. I'll get the T-shirt. Proudly displayed.
We could make some memes about the Festering Honor Guard. It's like, this is my suit or something like that. It's like, I'm not actually here. I'm actually a bug. Some joke like that about them. It's like, just wait till I roll a 19.
Exactly. And we got Ben Harris in the chat saying, "I only signed in to see Joe, and he's not there." Yeah, I think he's on his way. I think he's on his way, Ben. But okay, so when it comes to the bugs, then what stands out? I'll just put it here. I think the Legionnaires and the Phalanx, they seem like they're going to be like really good. Competitively. I mean, with their cards and such.
Because you have to, Revna is establishing herself as a general now, right? And we've already had a few options with Myserix, and then we have Kilkarax, right? Mm-hmm. So this is a really interesting dynamic in which they're deciding to explore the other side of Revna's options, which is the bugs. Mm-hmm. And yeah, just like what Tails was saying, this is going to be really good for competitive. Being able to switch between Phalanx and big ball and little ball and all those options. I mean, I feel like that dynamic is going to mess around with a lot of strategies. People be like, "Oh, let me just go hit the ball," and then explodes. And you're like, "Crap!" You're like, "Oh!" If you're surrounded by bugs all of a sudden because you decided to hit the Phalanx itself, something like that, you would have to decide: are you willing to hit the big ball and potentially, encourage your opponent to split it apart and surround you, mm-hmm. or can you hit the big ball fast enough? It's going to create different dynamics you have to be aware of with the bugs coming in. So
right,
I think that's pretty cool.
And you have to think of the Phalanx and I get all the bugs mixed up. The soldier ones mm-hmm. as one card effectively. It's kind of the first we've seen powers like this. And right. I mean, as effectively a 7-life figure, this thing can do some damage and then some.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, I was trying to load the card, and I something's going on with RenegadeGameStudios.com, actually, I think, because it's just loading, it's not processing. And go ahead, Josh. You were about to say something.
Yeah, I'm the main thing that I wish from looking at it is that it's not just to remove or heal one wound. It's like a whole splash of damage, which makes this card really good. You can just take 3 wounds at once and go, "Oh, I'm just going to take one of these 1-life guys off the card." Like mm-hmm. It's really, really.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And here, let me hold on. Okay, I want to know what's going on with this thing. Okay, I'm gonna bring this back here. Okay.
Just to understand how these guys work, they're 2 separate cards, but the individual guys can either start on the ball card as extra health, or they can join into those guys later on in the game, right? Do I have that basic mechanic down?
Yes and no. I think you can start them either way. From what I remember reading the cards.
You can start either way. Yeah. So you can either start. You can place any of the little guys on the giant ball at the start of the game,
right?
Or instead of attacking, if they're adjacent to it, they can jump into it.
Yep.
So you have a couple different options. Okay.
Yeah, I don't think because I know with the NGC, you can attack the ball and then those guys just come out and start attacking their opponents. I don't think it works for these. I think if you cause injury to the ball, then you have to remove one of them from the card. They don't necessarily come out into the battlefield. You can have them come out on their own, but if the
ball it does say you may remove.
Right,
you may remove.
So you may. So it can take hits because this ball
you don't have to
has 3 life. It's got 3 life, and that's kind of nice. That's kind of nice. Now I'm trying. Okay, I think the loading issue is done. Let me try this again. Okay, there it goes. All right, now we can kind of sort of see that. Internet working. Okay, and that's as wide as it's going to go, so that's all right. And then there we got Joe. Okay, and let me catch up on some of these comments because I know we have some comments here. Let's see here. Justin says the bugs were what I was least interested in from the HasLab, but the FOMO set in, and I didn't want to miss out on the premium painted edition. Yeah, just look at those guys. My goodness.
It's just it's.
With what I said, I'm much more excited about Clean Maladrex than the Festering Honor Guard. Yeah, because these, synergies with Classicscape with these are just amazing. And then hi Joe, and we got Joe Crazy there. Okay,
Yo,
Ben.
what's good?
Okay, Ben. Joe's
The
here.
other hive lord.
Your reason.
The other hive possessed individual in chat.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I'm just.
Apparently,
concerned.
Joe.
I'm
Now
worried for the
I'm
safety.
instead of mind shackled, I'm loyal to
I heard.
loyal to my queen. Yep.
Yeah.
I was
Tails,
listening to you guys talk about
Tails is actually a festering honor guard, and you are mind shackled. So
yeah.
just determining all your
allegedly.
I'm joined in.
I'm surrounded by enemies. I'm scared.
And but the best and Ben went few. Okay. Jack is asking too, Jeremy, how much influence do you have with the lore going forward? Is it your baby now, or do you consult with the team about it? And I think you answered in chat, but go ahead for
answer anyone who hasn't see that. Yeah. So the way it works, I am a contractor, so I'm consulting with a group of the Heroscape developers or the designers. So that's Alex, Dylan, and Rowan. Lee, who's a producer, and then it's me and William, or Dandelions. You know them as Dandelions in Discord. And so the 6 of us consult every other week, and then we're basically just narrative. We're literally constructing narrative. We talk about it, and then we disperse, do our stuff, come back, and that's what we've been doing for the past couple of weeks. So I'm really excited to eventually get to the point where then I can show you what I've been working on. Can't do that yet, but Heroscape is going so cool. I just stick with it. That's all I'm asking you. Stick with it.
Oh, I was about to drop out, but now you know what? I'm sticking.
Yeah, let's go, Roguescaper. That's all we need.
I would just be Rogue, no more Scaper.
Brand change already. You're gonna change your name like Mountain Dew's changing their name right now.
Speaking of Mountain Dew, look at this Baja Blast.
Yeah, exactly. That's what
right
I was actually thinking. The color scheme of this is very bright, but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I know that they were like originally orangish.
Yeah, bright mean in nature.
Yeah.
What does bright colors mean in nature? Danger. Yep. Always anything bright,
dangerous.
Bad.
Yep.
And if you see that and you're like, oh, that's not no, bro, she's poisonous. That's definitely poison. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Something bad is part of that, carapace.
The words of Queen, she's a killer queen,
She's a killer queen.
I love the fact that she can bond with Crypt Guardians. I've played Crypt Guardians last ScapeCon. I have a bunch, and I cannot wait to have her with Crypt Guardians and like the Festering Honor Guard and just go to town with people. And just Seattle Seahawks bug, says Jack. It's like, well, you have a silver sheen, and there you go. Yeah, you just
that's amazing.
Mascot. It's not a Seahawk, but it can eat a Seahawk.
Yeah,
I could eat a Seahawk. Yeah,
you could eat.
What I like about these new units is that the heroes feel very powerful. Like there's a reason to draft this in your army instead of 4 times of a common squad. Like it can do something very unique and very potent.
Yeah, there's anything that else stands out for the bugs with you guys. Anything that we need to visit for these, because we have a few.
Because we already had the powers for Maledrix and her guard, because that was one of the previews. So it was just nice to finally get the stats on the Phalanx and Legionnaires, kind of see how that worked out. Their version of it. Now, if you're really curious, there are 2 versions of the Lothman Legionnaires out there. There's a custom version, and then there's this version. You can try them both and have fun with giant bugs and all glory, because heavens, it's there now.
I'm just
have
in
fun.
my glory.
The versatility of the Phalanx that we got from Renegade, or for Avalon Hill and Renegade, is like so good. I've been reading this. I've been intently reading this card because I haven't got a chance to really read these cards at all. And holy mother, is so cool.
The all of one is scary. Can you imagine, like, I'm going to fight one bug and then they form up and you're like, ah, crap, I screwed up. Dead.
And the fact that you can do that on either of their turns is like, take them on and off, because the NGC version, it's like the Phalanx does not start on the battlefield at all.
Right.
Yeah.
And all the Legionnaires have to form, and you have to try to choose on when to form the Phalanx. But because the Phalanx isn't its own thing and it starts on the battlefield now, and you can kind of like put one on, put one off, and come back
Join
and
him,
forth.
Pick them off. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of more versatility with it,
I
and
see
being
what you-
able
yeah,
to
Interesting.
attack with essentially the Flanix to attack 3 times. Because I don't know if you take all of them off, is it considered dead? Do you always have to have one off?
No, I mean,
Legionnaires?
you just want
So it's-
you won't be able to
it's a
sacrifice
choice.
one anymore, and
Yeah.
then it just got
If you
its
don't
life
have any
because it's
Legionnaires.
got 3 hearts
Yeah.
on it. So it just dies after it gets hit enough, basically.
No, but I'm just saying the Legionnaires. If you put all the Legionnaires on the Flanix, is the
Mm-hmm.
Legionnaires card just like X'd out? Like,
I think you still have it on your board. And
Yeah,
then
because
would
you
choose
still
if
have the
you
option
decide
to take them
off. You still
out
have
of
to
the ball.
Take them off. Yeah.
okay.
So
Yeah,
if you're like
they
moving
can
the
just
ball, and they're
technically-
like, you know what? Let me send some.
Attack
Legionnaires
4
out.
times with 3.
The possibilities are endless for these
Yeah.
things, and I love their attack and defense too. I mean, it's
Oh, yeah, definitely.
it's
It's
strong
just like-
enough.
Solid.
Yeah, it's solid.
You could throw these guys in just as a filler if you had 50 points left over, and
What
I
a
mean that's
filler.
not a bad
Still really
What
good.
a
No.
50
filler.
disengage for 4 attacks at 3. I mean, you can't go wrong.
No, because you think about this, right? Like, I mean, glyph grabbing, right? You can break off you send your ball out and then break them off to grab the glyphs. They're disengaging, so if anyone's coming to get you to get those glyphs, pull them out before they come out because they got disengaged. Jump back into the ball and then go to town, get your glyph back. I mean, there's all kinds of things you could do. You literally have options to scatter, bring back, and like it's like a net. You're like fishing. It's really interesting aesthetic that I don't know if there's any other mechanics in the
No,
game that
it's-
act like that.
It's the first time we
So-
dipped into like a 2-card format.
A
really.
2-card format.
Mhm.
That's
You have
super
like
cool.
the wretched, which were kind of close. but
Yeah.
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 I do
Yeah,
like
although
too,
you
how
had to
this
summon.
card,
Yeah,
you
that's
can-
right.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
play like the smaller card by itself, or you could feel it was useful because the NGC version, I believe the phalanx, you have to have the phalanx to have the smaller ones, and so you have to have 2 cards, but for
Right.
only you have to take them together. So I like how they feel like separate entities, but they interact like very well.
Yes, absolutely. And Jack in the chat says the next point. This is another thing I like about the bugs. It gives me alien vibes, and I love me some alien vibes.
Yeah.
It says, I'm very excited for Maladrex and her
yeah.
honor guard. Her abilities
Jesus,
are so
I am-
thematic. I can imagine her just grabbing an enemy, face-hugging opponents with her brood. Absolutely brutal stuff because Festering Honor Guard, what does it have? It has Parasite, and this is like a thematic from Alien. This is all thematic this is something that we get from NIDS too, from
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
Valhalla
Parasite
Customs.
mechanic.
So it's like Parasite right there on the card. It's their own version. I just love it. I love it. I love it. I
You
love
roll
it.
a 9 or higher. Wait. Oh, wow. She literally can just drop
Yeah,
bugs on anybody.
yeah.
It's
I
a 17 or
love
higher for
these
them to come
things.
out, but yeah, it's
Oh
not
yeah.
hard for them
Okay.
to...
Yeah, but that's not. Yeah, it's not hard to get attached. Okay. Oh, that's terrifying though, because that could just be like. I mean, you all saw that preview. Patrick lost out of burn literally first turn. That was insane. Like,
That's a really good video. I
and
love that
8
one.
life
Justice
out of burn
Socialist.
got murdered by a bug.
And also, it's
So
a
don't-
revive mechanic. Anytime you can bring a character back in Scape, considering how hard or how much effort it is used to kill a unit, is really effective. So you get a kill unit and bring one back in the same turn is just potent. And also, I mean, you have some minor enhancements. With the Warden, you can bump up their speed if you want to. There's a lot, and they're unique, so you can buff them up even more. So there's a lot of stuff you can build around these guys.
Mhm.
Yeah,
No, I'll have to-
I'd
have to think.
That feels like a swarm.
Mhm.
And you're
And
making that parasite check at the end of every round, so if you have 3 or 4 of those on like enemy unique heroes, there's gonna be a lot of heroes blowing up at the end of a round.
It's terrible. That's horrifying.
17
It's
plus,
so
what is it, a
cool.
25% chance. I'm doing that 20% chance.
It's like everybody, just
25.
nobody fight Maladrix, or at least if you're gonna hit her, make sure you kill her in one go and be done with it. Don't play around with the queen. 'Cause she'll-
Mhm.
she'll
Life
make
is
you
6,
regret it.
defense 5 is nothing to scoff at.
And that's what I'm saying. You're gonna have to make a good one
Stop,
shot and
queen.
run. Please don't poison me.
Jedi Dan, get him in.
I did.
Yo, yeah, that
Yeah.
idea is Maladrix's doom. Let's go.
Yeah.
Please die. Please die. Please die. Please die.
He's like sitting in a bush, and then like Halucia comes up and taps him on the back. He's like, "Excuse me, sir." Boom.
Yo.
Excuse me, sir. This is my tree.
Yeah, this is my dream.
Yeah, all that to say too, it's a 5-person squad too, the honor guard.
yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
Very-
yeah.
very
First
first.
5 person.
I think it's a great trend. Let's go. Let's keep it going. How about 6 or 7?
Because it was supposed to happen with the Tarn Vikings, but they decided against it.
That's right.
Tarn Viking into Eldgrim, the Viking warrior. So the Fester Guard does take the role as the first 5-person squad, but it wasn't the first 5-person squad.
They thought of, yeah.
Yeah, it has been thought of since day one of Escape. So I mean, the option's always been there.
Honestly,
we can do 5-man squads.
Would be pretty good.
No
okay,
commit. I'm not
people.
Lead, by the way, that wasn't a commit.
We have to interrupt this program for a special announcement by saying
we didn't even get that far.
Pokemon. Okay, no. Who's that guest? Who's that guest?
Who's that guest?
Right?
Who's that guest?
Cue the Smash Brothers music.
We have special guest with us tonight. Just arriving, Lee from Renegade.
Hello.
Woohoo!
Hello.
Here,
also my boss. Right.
Welcome.
So
yeah.
I'm not doing anything bad. I promise.
Glad
How
you
dare
can.
you. No.
Glad you could join us.
See my
tonight.
custom creation stuff.
So much. Why don't before we dive into more of Wave 3, how about for the audience, for those who are living under a rock and don't know, please introduce yourself and who are you about and what do you do?
For sure. Well, I'm Lee Hoff, and I'm associate producer for Heroscape with Renegade Games. And yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
She is like the go-between of like the community and Renegade a lot. I know because she communicates via Discord and Facebook often with a lot of us, and so
occasionally Reddit. I'm very slow to check Reddit. Like,
who wants to check Reddit though? You know,
I try. It's like, I don't know what Reddit's good
deep
for.
stuff.
It's good
I
for
find
something.
some really deep articles on Reddit, but that's about it. It's like, oh hey, maybe I want to learn this obscure language, and then you can find an entire list of that obscure language on Reddit only, apparently. But yeah, that's all.
Yeah, it's good for archiving things.
Yeah.
And apparently Ben has a new love, Joe. Sorry, Lee's even better than Joe. Sorry, Joe. Sorry, Joe.
Oh, Ben, he's so kind.
But glad you can join us tonight, Lee. And so now, how about we get on? And we have some questions for you, Lee, too, in a little bit. But let's just continue with our overview of. We're just wrapping up on the bugs because, well, we have to start with the bugs because they're awesome. But one thing, like we had one last bug, and that's like I didn't expect. I mean, out of anything that I was expecting, I wasn't expecting to see this one. Out of anything, that's the Thraxus Dragoon. Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
this is a Hive Lord.
And then wait, hold on, it's still going.
Hive Lord.
Oh wait,
here's more. This card is here though. I can't wait to use this one.
Oh my gosh!
Doing the grub bonding too.
Oh yeah.
Even more bonds on top. I'm so excited.
Yes, I mean it's 195 points. That's pricey, but I'm sure it's. I mean, 5 attack, 5 defense. My goodness, and 6 life. Think and just move across the battlefield. Yeah, it's like,
it will fit just fine in any Nagrub army. I love it.
No, I should have gone to my office and grabbed 3D prints. I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's okay.
All right.
It's okay.
It's okay. Yeah.
We're not weeping or anything like that. Hello, Derek's Hobbies Interest in Life Moments. How you doing
I'm a strong individual. I can make this.
Yeah, we'll be fine. Of course, not knowing that would have been better, but
I know.
Now we know we're missing something, and it hurts a little bit more.
I know. This is what happens when I don't move my laptop back into my office, and it's still in the Renegade Con area, which is the only area with reliable lighting in my house. So. And it's also one of the more comfortable areas to sit in front of a screen besides the living room for hours.
Oh, Lee, guess where I'm at? I'm in the middle of what should be a living room in my house, but it's not a living room. It's office / cat litter box on the side, basically. So, yeah. Totally get it. All right. Well, how about, because I know Justin was mentioning this in the chat, let's take a look at So we're overviewing this. Wait a minute. What do we need to get to? Okay. What was I looking at here? Yeah, how about we look at some furry woodland creatures, because I love these a lot. And this is Vorglide Strikers. Okay.
Well,
what do we need to talk about
don't
this?
forget they're
Oh my
industrial, so I
goodness.
don't know if they know much about trees.
Goofy
To be
goobers.
fair, to be fair, they may have cut down all the trees.
Mm. What are you saying? I'm sorry.
Gotta say, this
I'm only half paying attention.
Oh
here.
no, I was saying, well, you said woodland. You said furry woodland creatures. And
Furry-
I don't know if they know much about trees because they're industrial. and-
It's an expression,
Steampunk.
you know. I'm
I
not
know
saying
that's the. I was building off of what you're saying. It's funny.
this
the
is what
forward
happens when I'm only
steampunk.
paying half attention to my stream and half
You're like,
paying
we
attention
don't
to what
need
people are saying.
trees. We've got fuel. We're fine.
They're
They're
super cool,
cutting
though.
down the trees.
I mean, how else are you supposed to
They're
build?
burning
You have,
something.
yeah, you have to make.
Mhm.
You only okay. Look, this is the thing. Industrialization requires fuel, and fuel comes from the earth. So they probably messed up their forest already. I'm just by like look at
Well,
that mechanistry. Like, I'm
Here's the
pretty
question
sure
you should
they've
ask
already
yourself.
passed.
Does any of these furry woodland creatures come with a flamethrower?
Not yet.
I still like my headcanon.
That's a question, not yet,
The
so-
Vorid are the bad guys of the planet. The Eisenecks
Oh
are
my
actually the
goodness.
good guys.
Oh.
That reminds me of concept art from the Avalon Hill campaign that I fell in love with. That I
Uh-huh.
recently fell in love with.
Uh-huh.
I called him Mini Bane.
Ooh.
Wait, I remember. Wait,
Yeah.
wasn't that the skunk? Was it
Yeah.
the skunk?
Oh wow.
Yeah, I remember this.
Oh,
No,
was
no. Well, I don't know what it is. It's literally like this little
I'm gonna
critter
find
wearing
it.
like a Milton like Joe style mask. Like he looks like a little mini Hannibal Lecter. He's my favorite.
Yes.
I gotta dig because I remember he posted all of
Not
those
real.
in
Oh my god! I got so excited that day when I
Yes.
came across
Yeah.
that randomly, not for work related reasons, and I was like, oh my god, look at him!
I'm
and
sold.
then, yeah,
I buy it tomorrow.
yep,
right.
yeah,
For sure.
Okay, I'm gonna
And
look for photos.
oh, so
That are
Vorglide Strikers are
not related.
scouts. And according to what Justin says in the chat, that means they bond with Vanek Warlord. That's great. That's awesome. Now, okay, I do have one gripe with these guys. I don't correct me if I'm wrong, but Attack 2, Defense 2 is slightly squishy. I think.
With a base of 1 and the ability to place anywhere, they have some
The place.
staying
I
power.
think that's the place.
And as a
anywhere.
65 filler point squad that you can put into any army as a strong in-game unit, they gotta be. With range being so rare and AoE, that they can just hit for 6 automatically with no restrictions is a really strong. Like,
That's true.
they can kite against the bears and a lot of other forces. So they're a good unit to have, but you gotta really be smart how you use them. It seems.
For sure. I mean, evasive helps too.
Yeah.
A little bit. Evasive helps too a little bit, I think. Any other thoughts about these guys?
Yes,
Yeah, go ahead.
literally the one right underneath the clockwork.
I got it.
Yep.
Tails, if you want to show it on stream, I found the art.
Oh my
so I
gosh.
can grab
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
the Hannibal Lecter that she was talking about.
Okay. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like it's not a
Yeah.
beaver. I don't know what that is.
I thought it was a skunk.
Oh, are we talking about Joe's window? I can.
Oh, not Joe's window.
Oh.
Wait, which window are we on? Hold up.
Yep. Right below where it says the Clockwork Combine, the angry
Yeah, that
guy
guy.
with what
Okay,
looks
okay.
like
I think I'm missing something here. I was like, oh, okay. I see. Okay.
yeah,
Um.
yeah. There's your flamethrower guy.
Oh, okay.
right there.
Yeah. No,
So,
Joe is. Joe is
Question
showing
in
it.
regards to Vorid flamethrowers. Yes, there is a concept of a flamethrower unit.
Oh, right
It
here.
was drawn for the Clockwork Combine.
Yeah, I see it right there.
So yes,
Oh.
the idea already exists in their formation.
Please.
Yeah,
Please,
for
Yeah,
like
that was
thematic
further
board.
north,
Foundation. Yeah.
please, and thank you very
and
much.
that's why they.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, I like it.
And also, I mean, the ferret with the top hat, like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
I call him
nice.
Dapper Weasel. He's my favorite.
Like, yeah,
It looks like a sniper
fantastic.
with smoking.
Just fantastic.
Just smoking the pipe. Yep. Yeah, take
Yeah,
take a
there's
little
some
pipe lead
really
while
great
I
concepts.
while I shoot you down. you
Yeah,
know?
these characters were like I know a lot. I I think a lot of people really misunderestimate the fact that they're small. I'm like, no,
Oh
they
my
have
gosh.
guns, people. Like, are you brave enough to walk up to a person with a gun and say, "You're small"?
No.
I'm not.
No.
I'm not
I'm
brave
not
enough
at
to
all.
walk up to like a
So-
raccoon or a
So yeah,
wolf on my
Raccoon
side.
with a gun, yeah,
raccoons
that's
are terrifying. Raccoons are
I mean, I
terrifying.
might walk up to
So-
a raccoon and like offer it some snacks.
So,
But
yeah,
that's
they
just
probably
me.
eat. I mean, yeah. I have not had the best luck with raccoons in real life. I'll just say that much. I have some stories, so I'm personally upset. But
That's some good artwork
yeah,
right
Tuck
there.
Harrigan's little this. So there's a funny little joke I posted in my own Discord. Kind of context wise, we recently got to go to Dawn Trail in Final Fantasy XIV. It's an area that's completely Spanish themed, and they have an animal there called a tiatia, right, which is their language for sugar glider. So when he came out, I posted him in my Discord, and I was like, "Look at his tiatia face," because I couldn't say sugar glider. I was so used to speaking Portugal, and I was like, "Oh, what?" And yeah, it was funny. So I called him a tiatia. He's not even. It's two different universes, and I'm like, "Oh my god!" But yeah, there's a fun little context there. He's a sugar glider.
I love this guy.
Yeah, gliding
He's a fun
Yeah,
little...
he's so the aesthetic is like the ace vibe. He's
Yeah,
like
that's nice.
Devil May Cry, Devil May Care.
li-
That's the word.
I like the slight card change they had since the Frost Claws no longer have that Valeric bonding. That he can come in, but you now have that adjustability to move your order markers to him. I don't think that was in the original card, so that makes him a lot more actually usable in a battle.
And I imagine that was probably like a playtesting adjustment because a lot of these units are being play tested heavily and worked on really well by some really talented individuals. So yeah, you'll see some adjustments moving forward, but I think it's for the health of the game.
No, I'm glad the Frost Claws don't have that Valeric bonding. I may be one of the few, but it really helps them stand up as their own kind of unit apart from them, and kind of I just like it. I like when there's different factions from the same planet. It makes the world more rich.
So I got a quick rules question here.
Yeah,
and I'm reading the cards in depth.
Mm-hmm.
So both Tuck and the Vorid Glide Strikers mention being placed on an empty space, but only Tuck talks about not being placed on a glyph. Is that an intentional wording, or is that sort of just a
Let me double check this.
too much, not enough words in the other one, or something?
I don't know.
Maybe we can drop the floor guide strikers on glyphs.
I thought
Well, I
that,
would
I
assume
thought, I
an
thought it said
empty
glyphs.
space, because if a glyph is encountering in a space, it's being occupied by a glyph, so it's not an empty space essentially.
True.
But then
That is
again,
true.
why
You're
does it?
right.
Why does
Yeah,
one
yeah.
mention?
You're right.
not
It
on a
doesn't
glyph
say
and not
glyphs.
the other.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'll save that. For
All right,
my
well, we
list.
got to get
Well,
Mike in here now.
yeah.
so.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and with,
Sorry, guys.
I'm a lore guy, not a rules guy.
Judge.
I'm a
Judge
lore guy, not
over
a rules
here.
guy.
Although to be fair, that was brought to my attention a few days ago. But yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I mean,
Hey,
and you
hey,
can
look,
bring
as
them. You can only
like-
bring them in one at a time, right? The
Right.
glide strikers. It's not like they can come in all
Yeah.
at once. So
Right.
there's a little difference there too. So it might be
Well,
advantage to
Which is
Yeah.
kind of
one
cool
on the
too. I kind of like that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there's
the joy
no
of
good
creating a
65
project.
Go ahead.
Oh, was that-
It's a
sorry.
joy of creating.
Go ahead, Jason. Go ahead, Jason.
It's the joy of creating a project internally, releasing it to the entire world, and finding out all the little
Oops.
details and nuances that you may or may not have missed. It's like, oh no.
Okay, Rogue
Happens all the time.
Roguescaper, go ahead. Give your thought.
Oh, I would say there's not a really good squad for 65 points. That's actually a price point that is kind of missing, and I always find it. I'm always like struggling to fill that point in with a good filler squad. So I'm really happy to have that, because there's some good 70s,
Okay.
there's some good 50s, but like 60 to 65 is kind of a dead zone for good squad figures.
Yeah, for a 4 squad, that's
Yeah.
that can fly. Actually, you know what's interesting? They don't have fly.
No, they don't have
Nope,
fly.
they
They
just-
just glide.
They just glide in and then they start shooting.
Yep.
That's what they do.
Huh.
Yep,
It makes
no
sense
fly.
though, because if you look, those wings aren't like
Yeah, the gliders.
they're
Woo.
you literally jumping
Yeah.
off.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah, they're metal.
Metal.
Yeah,
which is cool.
I think that concept was that
So they're
they were
falling
meant to
with
glide.
style, and then that's it.
Yeah, falling with style.
That's
And
it. They're
then
on the
you're shooting as
battlefield,
much as you
Just
can.
they're
going
just-
outwards,
You got to find a good spot. to
One-time
drop
use
to drop it,
wings.
you know?
I can imagine.
You know, you got to find cover. You know,
I can
Drop into
imagine
cover and then
animating
shoot.
with them, and it's like their range. But if they get into melee, they just move their wings around and just try and slice someone with their metal wings. You know, that'd be fun animation.
I would like to assume that parachutes was the first design choice, and then we're like, well, how are we gonna do parachute on the model?
No, the wings are nice.
Well,
But they're
you
like,
got the
"Ah,
airborne
we'll
elite.
throw
They just
metal
didn't put
wings."
anything on them. You know, the airborne is supposed to parachute in. They don't
That's
have any.
that
so
is very true.
They may
Yeah.
have just put it was an option between backpacks or wings. You know.
Yeah.
Well, and then they also did a blimp at some point.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. Let me catch
no,
up
but
on
I
the
think
chat
it's an
because
interesting idea.
we have a few comments here. Let me see here. Let me see where we're at. Okay. I think Justin here. I have 3 squads of NIDs. I got them on a giveaway. Wonder how they'd work in combination with Honor Guard and
Nice.
Maladrex and get 2 chances per hero to activate Parasite. That's actually a good point. Let me see here.
Well, you just slow them down with the nids and you make them weaker
Oh my gosh.
to kill them so you
Oh
can get
my
your
gosh.
guys back.
NIDs with the I can't, oh my gosh.
I will
You've already
start
sold
constructing
me.
that army as we speak.
I'm already sold as we speak. Justin says with Lee and Heroscaper on the panel and Derek in chat feels like Renegade Con never ended. Well, there you go.
In our hearts, it's still going
Renegade
on.
Con is every day. What do you mean?
Exactly.
We celebrate
Exactly.
Renegade every day.
That's probably how Jordan feels. He's the mastermind behind it all.
Well, because you got to
Yeah.
plan for the
A lot of
next
crap
one. Like
for
how many
it,
months
but
later?
He does an amazing. He does a tremendous job.
Hmm.
I give him
That's
so
awesome.
much crap for it, but he does great. And then there's other people involved besides Jordan. Like there's also Anais, there's Sophia. Like they're wonderful. They're all
Sure.
great.
That's awesome.
They do some. Yeah, they're wonderful.
Yeah, everything is a team effort. You know. So.
And
Sure. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
And Ben, aka Dadscaper, he's saying that I think he's referring to the Glide Strikers here, that they were heavily play tested for HasLab. So these were guys that were put through the ringer basically. Also the Scops are awesome.
That's
Yes, Ben. They are absolutely very nice. Actually, I'm gonna go back to see. Yeah, there they are. Yeah, very very
I
nice.
think
Yeah,
it's
like
really
the-
neat that we can have these conversations with the people who tested these units out. Because, like so Heroscape back when it first came out, right? Like I was a kid. The only interaction I had with Heroscape was going on the forums, going on the website, and going to Walmart. You know, that was about it. But seeing that there's there's people I know made these characters. People I know are telling me, hey, we worked on this and we trust these designs. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to be able to play these units and just be so solid because they took all this work poured into them and all this love poured into them. And it's people I know. And it's such a, I don't know, it's so different from how I got into Heroscape. So I'm excited to see how this turns out because, everybody's ideas are so cool. I'm so
Producer
excited.
in the panel, it's kind of wild. It's kind of it's definitely a crazy spot
like
to be in.
who would have thought?
Well, it's also weird. I can't say I grew up with it because I got into it when I graduated high school, but it's weird playing it so long ago and then working on it. Like that's just weird. So maybe it's similar to you now, Jeremy, but I don't know. It's weird. It's mind blowing.
It's like because it's the same game, but it's entirely different era. You were a entirely different person back then, and you're just like, wow, is it still the same thing? But it's like, it's
Oh
this
yeah,
legacy,
because back then
and it's
I
just
was
coming
still
with you all the way through.
Yeah, because back then it was still, Powerpuff Girl Monopoly and
Yeah.
Samurai Swords. And then I'm like, wait, what's this?
Oh yeah, I've mentioned it before, but my grab was when I saw the box. I used to live in Europe because my dad was stationed in Belgium, and I saw the Rise of the Valkyrie Master Set and APHIS. The first thing that got me was a Grimnack. I saw a T-Rex, and I was like, and I grabbed it, and I saw a T-Rex and a dragon, and I was like, what's that? And then, as I'm processing the box art, I'm like, there's so many things on here. I had to get it. Instant buy. It was just. It was. I was like, the T-Rex got me.
Now
I just
saying
remember-
now saying
I
that,
remember lifting up the flap at the store with my husband at the time, and I'm like, boxes don't do this. We have to get this.
That's awesome.
no, I'm so
flap.
happy for
Real
that.
happy
Yeah.
with the flaps
Mhm.
are on the new box too. Yeah. I
It's
love that.
iconic. It's
So-
part of the design philosophy, you know. It's what caused
It's
it caused it to be so dynamic back then. It should totally come back. It's just nice
Sure.
to see again.
For sure.
For sure, it's fun. It
And
was a fun detail.
And here, let me continue with these comments. Son of Odin JJ saying just now joining in, but it's fun to hear analysis about the new units while painting up some AOA stuff for Attorney this weekend. Well, good luck to you, JJ,
Nice.
on that. Justin, and this is actually a question that we all want to know. I've asked this before. Penguin with machine gun. Lee? Lee? Penguin with machine gun. Penguin with machine gun. Okay.
Well, like, here's the thing. This is my theory. This is not solid, but this is where if I was at that spot, this is where I would go, right? Because think about this, right? We have the Vorid, we have the Ursine, right? We already have a setting where they're up far north, right? And the Ursine don't have ranged support right now.
I'm telling you.
February.
Well, so the Order Borealis, I'm thinking, so Order Borealis is one of those, like, with the range support that they do, right? It's the wait then fire style, right? With a Penguin machine gun, there's a rapid fire option for range, and or
And what you do, you squad them up and you give them full barrage.
Full
Well,
barrage.
we'd also have to. I mean, I feel like if we were to make penguins with machine guns,
if
they'd have
remember,
to
this
have
is all if
jetpacks.
we're conjecturing.
If they'd have to have jetpacks, so then they could have
Yes.
flying.
Yes.
Because that'd be hilarious.
Yeah. I'm all in
And
on that.
penguins with jetpacks, are they evolving?
We need ourselves an absolute
Well, no,
zoo.
because like they can't fly
Yeah.
unless
Right.
unless
They can slide on ice.
Or good in water.
No, the
Dive
joke
stop
the
in water.
joke that was going around when I first posted the art from the Avalon Hill campaign, when the success, like where they were like, hey, this is a promise of the future, and they posted Penguin machine gun. I posted that art and someone replied in the video I made about that art. They said, what was it? You activated my fight or flight response and I'm a flightless bird. Like, that's the comment in that video for me. And I'm just like, if the Penguins with machine guns come out, I have to introduce them with that line. Because it's just on point. I'm a flightless bird. It's like, what? How is that supposed to be edgy? But it is, because he has a giant machine gun. You want to tell him no?
We need Sergeant Bird from Spyro.
Sergeant Bird from Spyro. I miss him. Oh, what a nostalgia.
That was so fun.
Oh man, Spyro was a game. Didn't they remake it recently?
Yeah,
Like,
they
made a
did.
remake?
Yeah.
They did.
8
think
years
so,
ago
yeah.
now, but yeah.
Yeah, my
yeah.
oldest played it a few years ago, and it was
Nice.
nice reliving it again, looking significantly better.
And the controls were way better.
I could
Nice
imagine.
and smooth. Nice and
Oh my
smooth.
gosh, yes, absolutely.
No, I feel like between what we had back then and what we have now, it's almost like child's play to get that game to look better than it did back then. Because it's like our technology has advanced leaps and bounds, so it's cool. We can make some 3D Spyro.
Derek,
CGI.
I love that line too. Yeah, I love that line. I haven't seen the movie, but I love the line. You know, I need to see that movie. I have a list.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm all out of bubble gum.
And I'm all out of
Oh, They Live.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Well, and so I remember when I first started venturing into the Heroscapers Discord after I started as Renegade, I would like throw out little things like that, and I specifically would quote They Live, and like no one got it, and I was like, all right, fine, whatever. There's your loss.
Dang.
Yeah, They Live is so great. Yep.
How's
I'm always
that?
afraid to make
How's that?
context jokes.
How's that command familiar anyway? And I didn't realize that. How do you say this? Hal. I'm just gonna call him Hal.
Halush.
Halucia.
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 I'm calling him Hal for short
I
because I can
pronounce
do
it Hal.
Hal.
Oh, he totally would go by Hal.
Hal,
I feel
yeah.
like with that
He,
beard.
yeah, I mean, he's a
He's a
little.
wizard.
He's a little.
Hal the Dryan.
Hal the wizard.
He's
Hal
a wizard.
Hal the wizard.
Yeah.
I didn't even
That's
realize
awesome.
he was a wizard. That's awesome.
Yeah, they're all the Dryons. So it's I obviously not locking this, but for the most part, the Dryons are wizards because they all come from that same category of the what was back then called Lifeborn Order, but is not. That is what we're using is those wizard abilities and the familiars attached to them as well. So everything you saw in the AOA stuff, where how the Dryons worked with familiars, that still exists in this edition. So in this version,
I'm very excited to have
command familiars.
real life Holucia.
Yeah,
and
like
again, for
it's a
Halichat at some point.
solid centaur figure. Like
Yeah.
It's a really it's almost like
It's so sticky.
it's like a good version of Brunak almost is how I
Mhm.
envision this.
Yeah.
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 If only he had Carrie too.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be cool.
It kind of does. It's familiar. It's just
Well,
more limited.
yeah.
Like, do whatever.
Have you
Yeah.
read his lore though? He sounds like a very grouchy person. I don't think he'll let anyone ride him. I'm just gonna be like, I feel like if you
Not
went
yet.
up to Halucia and you're like, hey man, I need a ride, he'll be like,
Step away from my
that
bush.
What'd
again?
you say to me?
say that again, and then just like start getting ready, and you're like, you better run. 'Cause-
He reminds me of a Hinox from Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah.
for sure.
I just think he would have a severe attitude issue
Yeah.
with anyone asking him for a ride. Like
So-
I just
He
feel
probably
like
gets that enough. He's sick of that.
Does he got like rocks or
Right?
something on his back?
What are you doing?
What's that on his back?
Would
Like,
you like to know a random fun fact about Holucia?
hmm
The color of his body is known as the ugliest color in the world, according to Pantone.
what?
what?
That's so
That's
funny.
wild.
Yeah.
Huh.
But Holucia
And it
can
looks
totally
great
rock
on
it.
him, so that's
Yeah.
huh.
I know, right? Yeah. So, yeah, Alex and I had a field day with that whole concept.
That's a really that's
Is
Is
Wow.
it the
that's
brown
fun
color or
fact
the
stuff.
light green?
You're like, which ugly color? The brown color. So
Oh, okay.
I guess one year Australia used it
Huh.
for packaging on cigarettes or something.
Oh,
But they're like, well, if we use this ugly color, we'll
Oh.
or something. But yeah,
I don't think that works.
I was just
That's
like, it's
so
a
wild.
fantastic color, and
It's a really nice
So,
like black brown color it looks like,
Mhm.
and it's just I'm excited to get some color on this unit, but it looks great pre-painted as well. Like I'm honestly like I probably have to invest in both just because I like he catches your attention with very muted tones, which is hard to do.
Mm.
And Derek says, when you make an army painted version, call it Hideous Hal. There you go. I think we found a
Oh.
nickname. We found a nickname.
Oh.
I don't think he's going to like that very much.
Everyone just wants to make Halucia upset today, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't
more
think
power
he's
to
the
y'all.
type of guy you want to
Again,
make upset. Do not upset a
Oh,
wizard.
right.
like literally he will make the trees hit you. So
yeah.
I don't know if you want to mess with him.
It's just great
Because
that
then
you can have
you're,
him with
you're gonna be like,
familiars.
haha, Halucia
Finally have an
joke,
army
and then you're
with
gonna
them.
turn around and this tree's gonna whack you in the back of your head. You're gonna be like, whoa. Yeah,
It's
don't-
like an
don't mess
SNL
with it.
sketch where she's like, it's like you're always making fun of Hal, but you always somehow are next to a bush, and then he's just right
And it's
there
just like,
again behind you.
Yeah.
sure.
That's a good Tales of a Hollow thing.
Hey, I'm
Make
taking
that-
notes.
Like the
I'm taking
slapstick
notes.
there.
I'm taking
Me
notes.
too.
I got to do my comedy.
Literally
That's
slapstick.
how I wish we
Anytime someone
frame
makes a
everything,
joke,
just like
Alicia just
SNL
hits them with a
bits.
tree. That's funny.
All right.
No,
And
but great miniature. Super excited to play him.
yeah.
for sure.
Oh yeah.
I
No,
definitely wanna
for
get all the
familiars and
Dryan.
everything. Now you got your own familiar army now. You have your setup now.
Mhm.
You're ready to go.
No, I need Halichat.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Halichat.
Once
shot,
I have
yeah.
You did.
Halichat,
The-
Or yeah. I think 2 more.
oh my
the-
gosh, I can't wait for that
Like
floating
the
goat.
staff of Kukupiran was very nerve wracking when I first saw it. So
Mm. Now, how about Sonlin here? Now, I'll say this:
yo,
on a backstage with me and Joe, and Joe can attest to this. We were trying to figure out, okay, what's the powers of Sonlin going to be, and we were guessing like something was going to do it with the dragon, and I guessed that kind of like what happens with the Valhalla
he
Customs
hasn't left
unit.
my desk all day.
It's
so.
going to be flying healing. I guess that I called it.
Yes.
I called it backstage last Tuesday.
See, I really should have had my tote, and then I could have just flexed and had the Soundwave 2.0.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Healing wing.
I was.
Well, you know
first
that
a little
means, Lee. You know what that
disappointed
means,
with
though. We just
I'm
have
just
to
gonna
get
have to
you
go
on
off
another
camera for a
show.
moment and grab my container. Yeah, no, next time.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can't. No, office is right by Trace's room, and
Oh yeah, I want to wake him up.
Don't want to wake up
he was
Tyler.
not.
Nope.
He was not. Oh my gosh, no! And he was not a great napper today. Partially my fault because I was like, oh, let's go to an apple orchard. Oh, you'll take a nap. Oh, and then I'm gonna wake you up early, and then we're gonna go to lunch with friends. He was great, a champ. As for, but oh my God, yeah, so glad he's asleep.
Majority of this audience, with the exception of Heroscaper, does not know what you're talking about, but that is okay. I do. Heroscaper does. So we're in that group. We're in that group.
The
I've
perspective,
taken
though,
naps.
but
I've
I
I've
could
had horrible
imagine.
naps before.
I mean, look, one of my roommates was a mom, and she had me help her with her kid.
Doesn't
but
does
hey,
not count,
I get it.
Jeremy. I was a teacher at one time managing like 20 kids at once. It's not the same as having your own.
No,
It's not the same.
you don't have to love the 20 kids you're teaching.
Exactly. Well, you did. I did. They were demons, but you can't.
And they go home at the end of the day.
Exactly.
The one who doesn't nap is still with you at home.
Yep.
You don't get to escape.
You have to, Lee. Just real quick. You have to I'm just thinking of this, but do you have a plan at what point when Atreus gets old enough where you can start calling him boy, like the God of War style?
oh my goodness.
I mean, I already have sometimes.
Because
like,
if
huh?
the option has to be there at some point.
2. Oh yeah, I mean he's almost 2, so.
Okay.
But you have to get the low gravelly Kratos sound, like boy, and he's like, what?
No, he'll get. Usually he'd probably get the middle name, so.
Okay.
So, which is done with.
Oh no, the middle name does.
Yeah.
So, what do we think of Solon here? I mean,
so at first, I thought he was really cool. At first, I was a little disappointed by Dragon Assault, but I've been mulling over it last couple of days. I was like, oh wait, this thing hits like a truck.
Yep.
That's 2 attack. It's a lot less. You sacrifice that auto wound for a chance just to deal a lot more. He's ripping into people. You get height. That's an attack of 6 and 5 on someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no problem leaving 2 engagements just to get the extra attack die to get a good hit on somebody.
Sure.
Because he has a life of 6, you can make that decision if you want to take a leaving an engagement wound to get that 6 hit.
Yeah.
Because the option, and because he's flying, right? Obviously, obstacles are not a problem. So yeah, someone that you need to kill right now is on the other side of that wall, but you're surrounded. Fly over, kill them, and then use Dragon Assault, take out the person that you're looking at, and then heal off. Figure out. Can you?
Yeah, I mean
someone?
heal in the process, but he can't heal himself anymore.
Yeah, he can't heal himself.
But he can heal a lot easier.
That lower threshold, that 13 is a lot easier to hit than the 16.
Yeah.
True.
And it's mobile, so you can do it while you're flying. So it changes some utility for versatility, which I appreciate. And he could still sit back and fire his blast with a 4 attack until people get close.
Yeah, he's ranged too.
Wow. He's nasty.
He's got
That's awesome.
Exactly. So yeah, it's good. It's solid. It's something that ever since they announced it during Had's Lab, it's we want this.
Sonlin's currently the only way to kill the frost claws. Oh, right.
Yeah.
Because that is a good idea. I didn't even think about that. Using Sonlin's wings to keep your 2 life squads kicking. Nice. Oof. Interesting. Also, one thing I wanted to say, I thought this was really funny. I mentioned it before, but when Sonlin came out with this new edition, or the 10 years in the future jump, I sent it to my group. So I have a group in Discord called, or not Discord, Facebook called Knights of the Hex Table, and it's my old friend group from high school. Okay, literally 10 years ago, of all the people I used to play Heroscape with, I messaged them. I was like, "Hey guys, Heroscape's coming back," and they all jumped back in. They're like, "Yeah!" So now I've been spamming them with all the new stuff. Yeah, and they actually been helping out with like the links and whatnot. And so when I posted Sonlin in the chat, I was like, "Look who's coming back." One of them was like, "Did they just ship it in Sonlin?" And I was like,
yes.
They did.
Exactly.
Sonlin is the epitome of the meme of like, remember this character? This is him now. Feel old yet? You know?
Yeah. like Sonlin's the pinnacle of don't mess with people that you know don't forget who you bullied in middle school, right? Because like it's a bad decision. You'll regret who you bullied in middle school when you meet them now. Like,
well, and it's funny
nice.
you say that because like I mean, not to be like I'm biased because I love the art, but like I especially love the art the card art that we have for Samlin because like just his expression and he's like casting like little spell,
I
love it. Yeah, sort of gives me
it's so good.
Like a little bit of like Samurai Jack vibes, like just a little bit just that art, but I love it.
Yeah, and Samurai Jack's just peak aesthetic.
Plus it was done by an artist that a lot of the community seems to like, so yay! Same artist that did Shiori and the Necrotech, Race Riders.
Nice. The Necrotechs are insane. That is a level of detail I cannot. Like every time I look at them, I feel like I see something new. Like it's so clean and scary looking, which is the intent, and that's what I like.
Yeah, we love working with him. Yeah, Eugen's great. We love him.
Nice.
Yeah. Shout out to him. Yeah, I love the artwork on all these things. It's a good visual representation of these characters. Let's see here. Justin, thank you for that segue. New Sonlin is currently the only way to heal Frost Clouds. Well, we don't have Frost Clouds, but we got more bears. So how about we take a look at those?
The bears.
Segue time. Okay. So Ordo Borealis, right? These guys, and this is kind of like they're almost kind of like fourth mass in a sense. Like,
right.
You need fourth mass, and that's
get them to a nice spot and just. And here's the thing. And it was mentioned. I saw this mentioned in the Discord, so I'm gonna have to address it on stream, obviously. But someone had mentioned. Oh, actually, if anyone's familiar with Dysel, right? Dysel, fantastic person, absolutely. All the work she does is amazing, right? She actually met me.
The Care Bears.
The Care Bears. I actually met her in 2015. She stopped by. 2014. It was 2014. She stopped by because I was in Texas at the time, and they had a local convention called Geek Fest, and so I got 3 hours for a booth to teach people how to play Heroscape. And I had mentioned that in the forums, and I was like, guess what? I'm teaching Heroscape. And Dysel replied to the forum, was like, well, I'll be in Texas at the time. I should stop by. And I was like, whoa, sure, absolutely, right? And I told her how to get into the con, and she showed up, and we played some games, and I got absolutely destroyed. I ended up learning quite viscerally and quite with experience that Wait Then Fire is an insane mechanic. She used Ashigaru against me, and in every match I lost. No matter, like, it's just there's something about being able to sit back and make people come to you, and being able to control combat in that way, and just be raining down on them while they're trying to get there. That just it's hard to beat that. You can't unless you have anything to defy, like jump between walls or whatever. It's instant death. It's you just get shot up till you're not existing. It's so sad. But yeah, overall, like Dysel taught me the value of Wait Then Fire mechanics very, very well. So
I wish they had. I wish the 10th and the 4th both had reload instead of what they have. This is a way more balanced power. I can't stand the 10th and 4th.
It's just too many figures.
Well, it's crazy because I feel like people. I've heard both wins, right? Like some people swear by the 4th, and some people swear by the 10th, and that's all they play. And every time they play it, I lose every time. I can never beat. Can you stop playing the? I won't say that. It's just knowing they play their best. They play to their strengths, and some Wait Then Fire is a really good strength in the competitive field. But it's like I don't know how to do it because every time I try it, I die. It's like I'm bad at this. Like I'm okay. I'll do it. Let me Wait Then Fire, and all of a sudden everyone's surrounding me and I'm dead. And I'm like, Wait, that didn't happen in my last.
That's not supposed to work that way.
That's not that. Yeah, it's frustrating. I think it takes a little bit of practice. I would assume a lot of the veteran scapers seem to be the ones that lock onto those wait then fire mechanics. So I think it's like if you play a lot of games, it becomes easier to know where to put them.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But if you're newer to the game and you're trying to find a way to put them, you're gonna be like, put them here, and nope, don't put them there. You'll find out why.
I don't mean to toot my own horn here, but I guess I will. No, last ScapeCon, I faced up against a bunch of fourth mass and I was up against who ended up becoming the ScapeCon champion this year. And I had
you played against Perkins?
No, not Perkins. No,
okay.
He didn't win Scape. No. That
No.
was
it
was
I
Veggie.
think Gen Con. Yeah.
It was Veggie.
ScapeCon's different. Yeah.
It was Veggie, and
Veggie.
he had fourth mass, and I'm just like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, and I had Death Chasers. And what I had to do was like the only thing that was going to work was like rush those guys and just keep on rushing fourth mass until I beat them all. And I mean, it was close, but I got the win. And I'm like, yes, that's all I needed. You know, so
Orc Battle Rush is scary
when
you have like
they're
5
not
spots.
completely invincible, as I found out. So there are ways to take them out.
The Death Chasers are so funny because I feel like they genuinely designed to be your first play and fodder because they have 2 defense.
Right.
So the intention literally is
go,
guys,
go,
quick,
take out your enemies
everything
first.
you can.
Yep.
Please, you know.
They're literally chasing death.
Yep.
Literally, yeah.
Yep. Oh, I love them.
But their bonus comes from their did they have Taskmaster bonding?
Yeah.
Is that them?
Yep.
Yeah. So
Yep.
you can use Knight Primus Aldebaran with them.
Yes,
I found that out from.
That would be cool.
I found that out from ScapeCon 2023. I played against someone who used a Knight Primus Aldebaran, what's the word, proxy, and then the Death Chasers as his main lead with that.
Well, how about we hop into that?
No.
Here we
No,
go.
please, no.
There's
That's
this
armor.
guy.
That bear coming
There's
at
this
because
guy.
like they send the bear
Champion.
first,
Wild
and then they
Bird.
come out for it. And then it's just like, what
Crushing
is going
blow.
on? I'm terrified.
Thank you for the segue, Jeremy.
So
It's got 8 life.
Yeah.
My gosh, it got 8 life.
Adelburn is gonna be a menace.
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah, Adelburn,
8 life.
and that's the thing. Adelburn, one option is Death Chasers. There are other options you can use them with. So there's like all kinds of ideas.
Cross
And
claws.
sending this giant beast.
Hey there, Matthias Maccabees, aka Ken, is in the chat. How you doing, sir?
Yo,
Yes,
man.
you know that lady.
Oh,
Yeah.
hi, Ken.
Yeah. Joining us tonight.
I just noticed this guy has big teeth on his armor. I never noticed that little detail before.
Yeah, isn't that awesome?
Oh, he does,
cool.
Neat little chest plate he's got.
Yeah,
This guy
that's
is
neat.
just one special attack, yet still a freaking powerhouse. That's just wow.
I love it. This is like a Grimnack for the new age, which is really fun because Grimnack is a really fun unit to play. You know, and it's fun to have this unit that everyone's going to try to take down
Crushing blow.
at the beginning of the
Right.
game.
Yeah.
But he gets next to you, you know, he's going to wreck house. So it's like a really fun. It's fun to see these heroes actually being heroic and being
Just remember,
alive.
he too can just turn into a bug.
yeah.
despite
is
the amount of
true.
power this man has, he could,
This is true.
as seen in the playtest.
Yeah. No matter how strong you are, bugs.
Watch out for Maledrix. She'll twist you up.
Derek saying, "Hey, I know that guy in the
This
chat."
is a cool character.
Our wonderful audience is having fun
Yeah.
in the chat there. And Ben is saying Adelburn was designed to be a menace, designed so that people who had just the new stuff felt like they had a heavy hitter. Well, yeah, definitely.
Well,
That's
yeah.
pretty cool. But yeah, no, it's appreciated, I think, for a lot of the
I
new
love it.
players.
Yeah, that's
And how, like, think about it, thinking in the context of trying to sell this game, right? We're bringing this game into its continuation. We're bringing this game from 14 years ago, right? What's a great way to sell it? Hey, you want a giant bear with a mace?
Yeah.
You know?
Honestly,
Like,
Heroscape went
what
through
did
this
you
period
say?
where the heroes honestly had such middling stats. Like it's almost not worth fielding half of them without and the ones that don't have any bonding. You know, like
Yeah.
poor Sudima outside of VC, she's
Poor Sudima.
such middling stats. Cool power, but like it's the stats are so low, it's never used. Or even like some of the D&D heroes, like
I have a theory. I always have the theory because if you read her bio and you read Moorsbane, so Sudima and Moorsbane have a shared history because
Yeah.
Sudima killed his mom. And I was like, that's such a crazy deep lore that you all just dropped there and never expounded upon, but cool.
And if
I
you
will
don't
remember
know
this
that
for the
bit
rest
of
of my
lore,
life.
it's quoted all the
that is
time in Tales
unfair.
of Valhalla because the character can't stop talking about it. So
Moorsbane can't stop talking.
yeah, can't stop
keep,
talking about
stop talking
his
about
mother
mom.
dying
my
and
mom.
getting revenge. Yeah,
Stop killing my mom.
One of some of the best lines in the series, really.
Yep.
Hellforge.
Oh yeah, the Forge.
Oh, I can't wait to get this guy.
You can't wait to get this.
Oh,
What are you
yeah.
talking about, Rogue? Rogue, what are you talking about?
Someone has to read that last line in like the deepest voice ever because it's one of the edgiest lines I've ever read in a bio, and it's just
Oh my
the
god, I
bio?
love it.
What's
the
this?
last line. Like the whole thing's great, but the last line is
Okay.
just indicator.
You know the one
That's
thing.
it.
Fuel.
Yes, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh
So, yeah,
man, I was like,
you have to read it in that
chills.
voice.
the chills.
Yeah. When
Everything on
I-
Valhalla is fuel to him. It's like, oh, bro.
Yeah, when I read through the bios initially, when internally within the team, like after I finished, I was like, oh, okay, I gotta take a break for a little bit here.
Mm.
And then I went on to read the bugs. I was like, oh, okay, take another break.
Definitely are bringing like the edgy, like hard hitting stuff out now. I'm like, wow, these things are intense.
And I mean, because the thing is like, was it 14? The age is 14
Yeah.
now, so it's like,
Well-
you think of your traditional high fantasy setting. Most of that has
Industry secret: most games are 14 and up for safety testing reasons.
For sure.
Oh.
Interesting.
Not
didn't know
necessarily
that,
because
but
of content. Yes, it is
Oh.
Interesting.
thousands upon thousands of dollars to have it age graded for a lower age.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I wonder if they had to do that for Heroscape because back in the day they used to label it 8 and up.
Yep.
So did they have to go through some like extra checks for that or?
Oh, I don't know about back then, but just
Oh yeah. it's probably
from
different
what I
currently.
know now and from
Now
working
it's-
at Asmodee, like, I mean, it's a lot of things. Like,
Huh.
you know, if it's depending on what's in the game, like you can't have game pieces be smaller than, you know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say a child's esophagus because like that's why
Yeah.
like a lot of packaging shows. Well, I call it the sad onion baby. But
Oh,
that's why
yeah,
it has,
yeah.
like the sad baby with like the
I remember
no-go
that.
thing on it.
The little
Yeah.
graphic.
So like yeah, that's why it's on there is because there's small components. Like oh my gosh, there's so much safety and compliance stuff that goes into
Sure.
games.
Sure.
When I say
That's
testing.
interesting.
But, yeah.
And
But yeah,
I
in
have
order to
to-
market toward a younger audience, there's additional testing.
Hmm.
I do have to appreciate you, Lee, for taking the time to share those small little details every once in a while because again, it's
Fascinating.
perspective. It helps us understand the process of the game coming back for us, and a lot of the questions that people have get answered that way. So it's like super helpful for the community
Yeah.
to hear
Well,
how this
like-
stuff happens.
So like I would love to be like, oh my gosh, it's 8 and up, but then it's like, there's additional testing, there's additional
Yeah,
costs,
that's something I didn't know
and
about.
there's we couldn't have a bio like Queen Maladrix or Hellforge Manduker for an 8 and up game.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah,
It's a little bit more flexibility, I think, for
The Hellforge
franchise.
Manduker for 8 and up is just an easy bake oven that cooks cookies for its friends.
Yeah, no,
Delivers them.
he's embracing you with a hug,
Yeah.
and you just the fire is the love of
Yeah, he burns with the
His-
love of his friends.
he burns.
If I may share the concept for this one as
Dr.
well.
Horrible or
Concept
what was
art.
it with the bug?
A Doc Ock or
Yeah.
Yeah, look at that.
It's
I
such
can
a
say,
cool
having
movie.
interacted with this figure, it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
just it's one of my favorite units. I've play tested a bit,
brick.
just having it on the board, and he's just like he's menacing. He is a menace. He just goes around the battlefield, and he's just
And I'm
hungry.
thinking of
Just eats.
so like
I love
Right.
the little arms on the bottom, the little
Mhm.
flailing.
yeah the
attack, like
tentacle ones.
yeah, the little
I want to
tendrils.
see
Like I just love
how
them.
viable. he
I
would
presume
work
they're
in-
chainsaws. That's what I look at them and go, those are chainsaws.
They're tentacles. I'd say they're more tentacles.
No, yeah, they're more like tendrils.
because he's like picking up things and like
Yeah.
Yeah,
he's-
oh yeah.
So like I would see him visually, he's just doing this nonstop. Like different parts of him is just whatever he can grab.
Flailing.
Drop
It's
that.
It's me
Yeah.
at the buffet
It's
after having eaten
Yeah,
breakfast,
and like
you
if
know,
if you just happen to be within reach, you're screwed. Sorry.
Isonic vacuum cleaner.
Bye. You're just getting eaten. Like that's all he's doing is just constantly consuming to keep himself alive because that's the forge will never go out. So.
That's beautiful. That is beautiful.
Now I want an
Yeah,
infomercial for the
too.
Isonic vacuum.
I can't wait for the crossover, the axe grinders, the Hellforge, just to really.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
All right.
Now I just want an Isonic oven.
Yeah.
Isonic oven. Easy bake.
Isonic Easy Bake Oven.
There you go.
It just flows so well.
That's your next shirt, Sophia.
That sounds like
I'll work on it.
terrible propaganda attempt. Like it's some weird Isonic PR attempt to, hey guys, we're actually the good guys here. Easy bake oven, and it's glowing blue cookies or something. And you're like,
It's like I baked you a cake.
I'm not eating those. No.
It doesn't taste great, but I baked you a cake. It only takes 2 minutes, and I
It's a
cooked
thought
it
that
with a light
counts. It's
bulb.
just burning skulls and like.
Yeah.
All right.
It's. I made you a cake. It's like, is that blood? No, it's strawberry.
That's
Hey.
fine. Yeah.
It's
There's
a
a
strawberry
fox in
puree.
it. There's a welcome eye.
puree.
It's fine. Here you go. There might be some marrow in here, but it's delicious.
Yum.
Oh,
Marrow
yes.
pie. Yum.
Marrow pie.
It speaks to you as you eat it. In the shrill.
I love how our menu list is growing. The entire stream we've been talking about different foods in Valhalla, and it's just we're gonna have an entire menu at the end
Getting
of the
hungry.
stream.
Oh, see, now you need a lore book.
Several months
cookbook.
ago, I did like say, "Oh, Foodscape confirmed." Like those just troll
Yeah.
people.
There you go.
Yeah.
You
can confirm it even more.
So check this out real quick. There is an author out there. Her name is Victoria Rosenthal. She actually gets commissioned by other companies to write themed cookbooks
Yes,
to
please.
those video games. So like the
Now.
Halo cookbook,
Yes, please now.
the Final Fantasy cookbook, the Destiny cookbook,
Yes,
all
yeah.
that stuff is one person. She
you go.
literally
I
just
wonder-
makes video game themed cookbooks.
Wonder if
I can send her a link. I got you.
Yeah. Do it.
Well,
I
no,
followed her.
Do it.
no,
Do it
like
now.
So a studio that I used to do work for, Catan, they did a cookbook, which I was
Nice, yeah.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, the
involved in
what's the
that.
word? The genre is there. I can tell you the genre of fictional cookbooks is very real, and there's
I
one
have a
person
Star
who
Wars
does it, and
cookbook,
she's
yeah.
taking. Yeah, she's doing such a good job with it right now.
I made blue milk once or twice,
Oh,
It's an
Oh, boy.
easy
Heck
gift
yeah.
avenue.
Yeah.
Like I know, like my dad, I gift like a D&D cookbook for at one point.
Yeah.
So I feel like the
Oh,
same
that's-
thing could happen on my end with an escape one.
Post it in the Discord too, so if you all want to go follow her and
Blue
check her
Milk
stuff.
Galaxy's Edge is actually absolutely delicious.
Mm.
Oh, good. The green
Now,
milk's fine.
How about in
Milk
the
is where it's at.
in the segue of cooking, we need a meat tenderizer. So why not a
A
major
meat
Q11?
Yeah, there you
tenderizer.
go.
Talking about meat tenderizer. Good
I
lord.
know.
Kaboom!
I know.
Talk-
That hammer.
No, see, here's the thing. I don't think Major Q11 has any interest in tenderizing. When that hammer drops, you're gone. You're done.
Hammer time.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's
You've
pulverized.
you've
The
become
meat
atomized.
pulverized.
You have fulfilled. You've become one with the earth, literally. Good luck.
Okay, Joe. Joe, why don't
So
you?
cool.
Joe, why don't you say something? Because I know you're on the edge of your seat here. Go ahead. Go ahead and say something.
You
Say
full
everything.
barrage. I think I said this in our backstage. It's like every single card in Heroscape, if it does not sound good coming out of your mouth as an attack, like it's from Pokemon, it's like Major Q11, full barrage, like, and then you just imagine just like coming out.
That's
Yo.
so
Like,
funny.
this
that
is
you say
exactly
that, 'cause
what I've
that's
been wanting.
That's what I do inside my head.
Yeah,
Yes, let's go.
So,
But I visually do it.
Designer
so it's-
approved. Imagination.
anything
Remember,
back.
imagination is key. This is the imagination game. Yes,
Yeah.
Kate envision this stuff. All of those ideas in your head, write it down because it's awesome. I'm telling that to the chat.
Actually, yeah. Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like last night, I was playtesting for a tournament next week, and I was playtesting with Q9 and Rats, because I've never played with that army before, but I know it's a good one. And
Right.
boy, I mean, Kuglix is nuts, but this full barrage is like, to me, way more balanced, but yet so much more fun. Like, if I have to even just move myself up just a little bit more, man, I got 4 life defense 6 and being able to just. This is just so cool. Oh, I cannot wait to do this. And then then you get adjacent to him, and you're like, finally, I'm here. I survived.
Hammer time. Extra wound for every wound you drop on that character. That's like, it just doesn't make sense to attack him adjacent at all because you're increasing the amount of damage that will be done to you. Like, unless that's.
Well, you don't want to swarm him because he attacks the adjacent figure. So
and then he can attack. Yeah.
This
So
guy
if you swarm
loves
him,
fighting
he'll attack.
vipers
He can
with high
attack up to
defense
3. So.
Hello there,
I'm
Silas in the
disappointed
chat.
that he's only a large and not huge.
Yeah,
I'm
he's
I think he
curious.
was a large in his previous.
I
model, too.
assume
he's
I
actually bigger
assume
than.
Yeah.
that was a balance change, only because there's a lot of powers in Classic Escape that are like, oh, it does not affect huge.
Right. And I mean, it would make sense because if you want him to bond with other Soulborg armies and they still use that where the huge can't be affected, you don't want him to be missing out on those powers for future Soulborg builds.
I mean, Major
Like that.
Q9's large 7, so he's the same size as Major K9.
No.
Yeah.
And it's like large 6. Yeah, I don't think there's been any huge Soulborgs at all.
Because huge, the thing is, when you think huge, I think dragons and Grimnir.
Wow.
Walker 9000's huge.
Yeah, Major Q10 is like giant size. He's like in the giant troll category versus the T-Rex dragon category, if that makes sense. Which, the fact I can say that. That's Heroscape.
And hello, Silas there in chat. We'll ask Lee some questions in a minute, so just hold that question for a second. I
will nerd out about the cards.
We're nerding on cards, but I mean this is the last one. But I was just thinking of a line actually, and it would surprise me if no one has thought of this yet. But see if you can tell me where this comes from. By Vidar's hammer, you shall be avenged.
I got you, Tails.
Nice.
Yeah.
Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Oh, gotta love that movie. Oh my goodness.
It's the best Star Trek
watch
movie.
it. It's been.
Oh yeah, yeah, bar none.
It has been a minute. I need to pop that back on.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, this is an amazing sculpt, amazing stats for this thing.
I saw this drop on the stream, and I was like, I almost could step back. I was like, that thing is awesome.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. The paint job, the aesthetic, and then just
I'm
again
really excited because originally we planned for it to be for organized play. And then we're like, well, no, let's, Sergeant Drake Alexander was like a pre-order incentive, and he's a big deal. Braylon's a big deal. Shiori's a big deal. Q11, it's like, well, there's Q10 and Q9. It's like, we got to make Q11 a bigger deal. So that's why he's pre-order incentive. And you'll find out what's going on with Q11 soon-ish.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because there's no biography.
Yeah.
He has the truly promo figure lore right now.
Yeah.
Exactly. You'll find out the moment you pre-order character bio unlocked.
Oh.
That would be hilarious, though.
That would, yeah. I wish there would be a way to do that. If there was the technology to just like, oh, you just pre-ordered, you just unlock more lore.
Honest, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I'd
turn
be
it
all
up
over that,
because that was actually, I mean, that was the last mini to look at, and I mean, it's okay. It only took us like an hour and a half.
Wait, we went through all of them?
Any sooner.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Wait, hold on. We went through all of them? That's quick. I
Yeah.
thought it was going to be long.
And well, I mean, we didn't technically go over all the terrain stuff too.
Yeah,
but...
and I was about to
Fair,
say, if anybody wants to mention anything about the terrain before we move on to like
Swamps
asking
are
me
awesome.
some
I love
questions.
the red plants. Red
Snow.
plants are peak. Red plants.
Oh.
That
Yay.
snow is cool. I want to make a snowy Michaels too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to be
need a lot of snow.
grabbing those red plants. I have the classic Takala stuff because I was able to grab one of those sets before they went away and became $2 billion. 200. I know, but it's still annoying. So I have those originals, right? And then I'm going to get these new ones with the Lower Jungle and then the red plants, and then put all of those together. Man, that's going to be the coolest looking forest on
I know
any,
it's gonna be awesome.
right?
Yeah, no, it was fun.
And just
playing around
layering the
with
trees
colors.
and ooh.
I think we need more trees.
I'm a
though.
jungle.
We need like a
I'm,
tree pack.
I'm obsessed with
so we
jungle
get
aesthetic,
a bunch
so
of trees.
I'm glad I have more options for my jungle aesthetic. That's
Those red trees really do pop. I really just like that little. I
there's just oof.
I like that it seems to be intentional. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but it seems that you're adding something different in these terrain packs. It's very similar, but it's like, oh, I have a 24 hex sand. I have a lot of terrain, but it's like a reason for me to invest in this. I have trees, but I don't have snowy. Like it's a little detail which I appreciate.
Maybe.
Aesthetics.
Yeah.
Are nice.
well, it's like one of those things. I mean, the huge thing is, it's like most of y'all have seen all the Age of Annihilation figures, and we have to like sprinkle in new and exciting things every once in a while. And you know, it's like with the battle box, we had the wellspring water, and then 24 hex sand,
and all of those innovations are things people have asked for in the past. I guarantee you.
Yeah. Well, and then creating like brand new stuff like that takes a while. So like, just to put in perspective, so like Renegade original stuff like that will come out Gen Con 2025. So like summer 2025. So like, to give you an idea of how long it takes. So like I started back in
Labor Day. I remember you mentioned it was Labor Day.
September 2024. And like as we like all worked and like we're like, okay, well, when can we introduce commons and new stuff and stuff like that, and like figuring out on the schedule, it's like, all right, well, cool, the soonest we could do it would be summer 2025 because that is how long it takes. So
yeah, it's just, I think a lot of players, again, and this isn't like a dig thing, I think a lot of players don't have the perspective of game dev. Like they don't have, and it's like, think about it, it's like if you don't have the awareness of it, it's hard to have that as a deciding factor when you see these things and you're like, why is it taking so long? It's like, there's a reason for it. They're not delaying, they're not being mean, they're not withholding information because they feel like it. I promise you, this is the.
It literally takes a long time.
This is it's just, this is how the process TM, they're not trying to delay anything. There's no planned delays here, it's just, that's just how the time it takes. But
I'd much rather have a well tested, thoroughly like thought out product than just rushing stuff out.
There you go.
That helps the health of the game. 5 years from now, I want to still be able to play without thinking about what's broken.
Let's go.
Yeah, we don't want to unintentionally break the game. So.
All right. Well, how about we discussed a little bit of terrain, and I guess we'll close out that segment of overviewing Wave 3, and now we'll begin a new segment so I can time this and edit this out later. Now we ask Lee some questions. And see here, I got a pile. If anybody in the chat wants to, there's already a couple in the chat here as well for Lee. We're gonna handle as much as we can in the overtime that we already have tonight. Joe, I don't think we're gonna keep this under 2 hours. I don't think that's
I wouldn't want it to.
This podcast is an overstuffed PB&J sandwich. It's jam packed.
Oh yeah,
it's fine. We're all having a good time.
It's okay. That's what happens when I join halfway through. I had no idea when Atreus was gonna hit it, so I was like, well, I should be safe with 9:30.
That's no problem. All right, so I'm going to ask, actually, first, since I'm the one compiled these questions early on, and since I'm the only one that actually asks a hardball question, I'm going to start with mine, actually. Just rip the Band-Aid off early. No, see, here's my thoughts. When Renegade first started, and Lee, I do understand, and actually, no, we won't do that. We'll do this one first, so we understand where Lee's coming from.
I don't understand. I take that back. No.
You had me in the first half, Ryan.
Yeah. I know. When I change my mind and no one knows what I'm thinking online, no one understands what I'm saying. So just roll with it. Okay. So this is what I'm gonna.
We're here for the moment.
This is what I asked. Actually, Joe Crazy's first, so we can know what Lee's all about, what she actually does when it comes to the creation of Heroscape. So this is what Joe Crazy had asked, I'd like to know what an associate producer does for a board game like Heroscape. What's an everyday experience for that type of job? So what exactly do you do, Lee?
Oh my gosh. So it's like, no joke, it's literally like the murder conspiracy board, and I'm not any of the cards. I'm literally all of the string going in every single direction. So it's me chatting with Jeannie, who's our creative lead, me chatting with Alex, Dylan, and Rowan, our devs. It's me having like really big conversations with Dan, who's our senior producer of Board and Card, and also Scott, or me chatting with Jordan, Anais, or Sophia, like our marketing people, Leisha, our VP of like production and logistics. It's like, not to be like, I'm like this hub world where everything comes together, but like that's literally what it is. Like, I'm making sure everything is on time. I'm making sure like the devs have what they need. I'm making sure Jeannie doesn't have any roadblocks. I'm making sure Dan and Scott have all the appropriate documentation they need, plus doing my own internal documents that I'm responsible for. I'm making sure I'm on Leisha's good side when next week I'm like, oh, by the way, I have this crazy, fun, exciting new thing I want to do. How quickly could we get this made? So she's not upset with me. So I make sure she's very well taken care of, because she's wonderful. I mean, everyone's just wonderful. But it's literally just making sure the game can be the best it can be now and in the future. So it's, I mean, I know it doesn't completely answer the question, but it's like literally everything. Like, well, not literally everything, but you know, getting
so Lee is basically Valhalla.
Yeah.
Like,
no.
Lee is Valhalla.
No, it's like I'm like the contact person that knows a lot and where everything is in the process. So like, I don't want to say, oh, I'm a project manager, because there's more than that. There's, you know, coming up with ideas. It's doing deep dives into things, doing, you know, profit and loss analysis. It's working with the devs and being like, okay, well, this is what we have to work with. This is how many figures can go in this army expansion, or, oh, we can only have, you know, this much terrain, or, oh, it'd be really cool if we could like sneak this character in as a 2.0 or whatever, and stuff like that. Or, oh, this thing was really popular, I noticed. What could we do with this? Like, just, it's literally like, I don't know, it's literally like a little bit of everything, but in one person, which is why I'm everywhere, always watching. No,
that's great.
Oh,
I mean, because that's kind of how it felt in the first place. Because I mean, you are literally everywhere, like online, when it comes to communicating with people and stuff. So you do that with community. You do that, you know, with people in Renegade. That's
right.
That's a good place to start from. All right. Well, now I'm going to get into my question. Okay, hardball question. Here we go. All right. No, when it came to like Renegade first getting like the IP of Heroscape and the whole process, really in kind of like the past year, like say the first like 6 to a dozen months, we got an announcement. We got pins, that Gen Con Heroscape pins. I still have mine in my desk right here. And then it was like wait and see and not much communication, which basically like cast a lot of doubts, because like, well, we don't know anything. Well, and I mean, and I've said this before, we don't need to know anything. It's Renegade's business. They can do what they want. But at the same time, why was there a radio silence to begin with? Just, I think that might be a good thing to tell the community. Like why was there so much silence and not much communication at the beginning?
Well, you need to have a team first. And when Renegade put out that like announcement, it was like beginning of June of 2023.
Right.
To put like not a timestamp, but like to give you an idea of like, I applied for that position like for the associate producer position, like end of June, maybe beginning of July, and then I was interviewed, and then Gen Con happened, and then after the studio returned from Gen Con, so after they gave everyone the pins, then I was hired. I accepted the offer, and then my first day was Labor Day of 2023, which I didn't have to work, which was awesome, I guess. But returned, the day after. So that was September, and so at that point, so it was, I have to be like, it was just me on the Heroscape team, because obviously there was still Dan and Leisha and Scott and Jordan and Andy and all these awesome, wonderful people, but like, it was literally like, hey Lee, this is your first week. Here's all this stuff we got. How about you familiarize yourself with it? And Renegade as well. It's like, okay, cool. So that was my first week. And then the second week, Rowan started. And then, I gave Rowan their space because, first week of a new job, you're just like, you just need to absorb everything because at the end of each day, you're mush anyway. Yeah. And then, after that, like we would, meet and chat every single day. And we're like, okay, well, we got to make a master set. What will go into a master set? Whoa, we've got so much stuff left over. What if we did this thing? We're not going to call it a starter set because a starter set makes it sound inferior. What if we did this thing that's like a close-up look at something that happened on Valhalla during this battle of all time that was like this important moment that like, maybe started the whole thing. And that was how the battle box came to be. Mm-hmm. And then it's like, okay, well, then we put everything else in army expansions. So then what I did was I literally reviewed what was left, and then I reviewed all of the card text, and I was like, okay, what has to go together if they were going to be in an army expansion? Because I don't want to unintentionally break any synergies. Like, if I had Queen Maladrix paired with Halucia, like, that'd be terrible. No, Queen Maladrix has to be with the Festering Honor Guard because that's how they work. Same thing with the Oathbound Phalanx and the Oathbound Legionaries. Like, they have to be together. And then it was, so like after doing that and then like figuring out what is the master set. Is our master set bugs versus bears, or is our master set a nice sampling of almost everything, like a good little sampling, because that's how master sets were previously, like just like a nice little like appetizer sampler. And yeah, right. So that took some time. And then Renegade Con, where everyone found out what animals I like and what ice cream I like, because I couldn't, like at that point, the concepts for the master set and the battle box weren't approved yet. Okay. Which is why I didn't call them those things, because I was like, well, Hasbro hasn't approved it yet, but we're making them, because Hasbro would be nuts to say, no, we're not going to do those. So that's why I didn't say very much then. And then shortly thereafter, of course, thankfully, they were approved. But so it was honestly like just figuring out what the whole game line was going to look like for 2024 and 2025, and like how could we break Age of Annihilation up into these digestible chunks that made sense, that would help drive the story forward, and like timing of things. So like that's why Volrac isn't in the master set. It's like, well, we're already introducing Brevna, and if people are just getting into Heroscape or getting back into Heroscape, they're going to be like, wait, what's going on? Because now we've got two new Valkyrie generals. So just to sort of, clear the air on that bit, like that's why Volrac is delayed. We want to give Brevna some time to shine, and also like that way, like new players wouldn't be overwhelmed. And also, also a huge part of it is like from the Adlab campaign, if you remember, like a lot of the Dryans were originally Volrac. And I was like, that doesn't make sense. Like you've got your steampunk critters, and then you've got these like wizards. It's like, so you have these critters, but they aren't very woodsy because they're relying on technology. And then you have like these powerful wizards. And then you have your beasts. These critters aren't beasts. Like the Dryans don't synergize with these, but they're Volrac. Like, why? That doesn't make sense. So like that's why, some of the Dryans are Ular. That's why some of them are Ocula and like that. So it's like what makes sense. And that took time because it was getting, creating pitches and getting concept docs and all the appropriate steps in order to get things made. And like all the figures were already revealed during the HasLab campaign. So it's just like, hey, we're making this. You're like, yeah, we know. You already said you're going to release all this stuff. So that's not exciting. You're like, oh, okay. So like it takes a while to like drum up new and exciting things.
Sure.
And then also like the way Renegade operates and just tabletop games, like publishers in general, like the big deal is Gen Con. Like that's our big deal. So it's like, yes, in 2023, like the big deal was, hey, Heroscape's coming back, here's a pin. And then in 2024, the big deal is like, hey, the master set's out, the battle box is out, and all this stuff. So in between then, in order to keep things fresh, we do Renegade Cons, which are, for those that are not familiar with it, it's like mini digital conventions and things like that, where we talk about new releases, product reveals, and stuff like that. So we wanted to save it for Renegade Con.
And how do you think, like, when did thinking about like, oh, Heroscape's got a community, maybe we should talk to them sometimes, when did that start coming into the window?
So I just do the maniacal laugh because sometimes I'm just like, and not that it's like, what did I get myself into? I'm very thankful for some of the friendships I've, and the people I've gotten to know, like so many wonderful, wonderful people. But like my previous job, when I worked with Asmodee and FFG, I was not permitted to be a part of any game communities. I was not allowed to even join Discord servers or things like that because of all my secret projects that I worked on. And so that's why I was like invisible. Like I was literally a lurker. Like I would visit Heroscapers, but I could never join the Heroscapers Facebook page because that was to private. And it's like, oh, and I can't let work people know that I'm joining gaming communities because I really love my job and I don't want them to, so like, so that's why I was always a lurker. But I guess for me, like, I want to know what people are saying. I want to know what they like. I want to know what they don't like. I want to know what they're looking forward to. I want to, like things like that. Because not to be like, oh, it's research, but like, what are people looking forward to? What do they really like? Because, oh, they really like these things? Oh, we should really like focus on that. Or, oh, what's something that's lacking? Where can we improve? Like things like that. And, like, yes, there are all sorts of controversies and things like that, but it's just like, because I know in the beginning, like a lot of people within the community were like, oh, Renegade, they're this big, huge corporate company. No, we're not. No, we're
you're pretty small.
Like we're, like we're a big name, but like we don't have hundreds of people. Like, we're a moderately sized publisher and full of like industry veterans and things like that. So like we know what we're doing. We all love games. Like we're literally like a company. So like I can't say that about every single publisher. Like, like where I worked previously, not everyone at Asmodee loves games. They just happen to be really good at what they do. So
all right.
But yeah. So yeah, it was honestly like find out what people are saying and and also to troll a little bit. Why not?
And let's see here. I do see my buddy Jason here above my head had a question. Any timeline on when we will see Renegade original units for Heroscape?
Yeah,
and Jason, if you want to, I don't know if you want to clarify that at all, Jason. I don't know.
No, that's right. I think we just got a pretty good answer right there. So
2025. Okay. There we go. All right.
Also tells you how long it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like it's a. I guess can I follow up with that question? Is what's been revealed and released so far? What has been like the most satisfying thing that's been released for you?
I know this is gonna sound dumb, but the battle box. Just because for me, the battle box was okay. Well, I can't make a $40 master set anymore. Not with how much shipping is, how much it costs to make things. Like, so I mean, I will say it's like, oh yeah, well it only costs this much to make it in China. Yeah, but you still have to ship it from China to the U.S. And then once it's in the U.S., it still needs to transport on the rails. So like, you know, on trains, and that costs money. So, and like freight. So like, we pay a lot in shipping in order to get something made. So having a $40 master set just unfortunately is not in the cards, but a $40-ish dollar like battle box right off the get-go, like maybe we can try. So like for me it was that, because it's like, you know, that's what drew us all in. Not necessarily the price point, but like oh my gosh, what's this amazing thing on the shelf? But like, you know, we already all know what's in a master set, and like a battle box, like I wanted something like Rowan and I were like, we wanted something where it's like you learn how to play Heroscape as you go through the scenarios. And we wanted something, I'm going to be honest, that was appealing to a younger audience as well. And it's like, well, what do kids think are cool pirates? You know, like, and it's like, oh yeah, you know, bears, but I don't know if kids are going to be like, oh my gosh, armored bears, but they may be like, oh, that like owl is cute, and oh, that like squid wizard is really cool looking. So,
and pirates.
I would say the battle box.
Who doesn't like pirates, you know?
Shortly followed
Pirates
by
is such a good starting option.
Shortly followed by booking that our artist for the master set art, because we love working with him.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, and let's see here. Robescaper question: is it possible to describe some of the transition from the failed HasLab campaign to being, and I think we talked about it a little bit, but from the failed HasLab campaign to being produced by Renegade, like some of that process?
I mean, like what comes to mind is the Vine. I don't know if y'all are. I'm probably dating myself by mentioning the word Vine, but like the Vine of like this little girl being like, look, it was literally that, but with like, here are all these sculpt files, and here's what they look like, and here's all this hard text, and by the way, we didn't deliver all the stuff, so sometimes it's in different spots, so it's literally like, okay, we do have this, or oh, we didn't get this. So it's like literally like making a checklist. Okay, what do we have, what do we not have, do we have everything? So it's like going through everything, making sure we had everything. And so the process, I don't know if I can describe it as a process, because honestly a lot of that was Scott, Dan, and Leisha. And like when I was hired, it was, do we have everything? What can you do with this? Let's make stuff with it. And it's like, yes, okay, yes, let's do it, and you know, do all that stuff. So I can't necessarily describe what the process was like getting all that stuff, because that's not my realm. That's definitely more Leisha's realm. But it was almost like being a kid in a candy store, just seeing all this stuff. And then just making choices and things like that. So I guess that was my feeling, but as far as the process, that's not necessarily something I can speak on.
Okay. Okay, and let me see here. Okay, Jeremy. Well, actually, wait. Before I do Jeremy's, because that's a little bit more a fluff question. Let me go to the chat real quick, and because I know we had some questions here. Let me go through this. Back up to. Matthias Ken there is asking, are you doing autographs? I think that's. I guess that's a very fluff question. Here, hold on a second. I just gotta scroll through these. I gotta find what I'm looking for. Where are we here? Okay, Silas.
I did have someone at Gen Con ask me to sign their battle box, which was really weird. I did, and I thought it was very sweet. But I'm like, this is so weird. I'm just a person.
The more you work on things, I mean.
Yep. That's just Heroscape.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
like,
the vibe.
And then to Dan, I was like, Dan, does this ever happen? He's like, I was like, okay. And then
Because
I was like, this is so weird.
I got Craig to sign my Kaminawa card because he mentioned on the forums that Kaminawa is one of his favorite sculpts, and I somehow remembered that because I was like going through my stuff. I was like, what card should I get Craig to sign? Oh yeah, the one he likes, and it was just like, how do I remember that? I don't know, but yeah, that stuff like that is just this fan stuff, I guess. We know that you have that association. You made the battle box, so everyone's going to bring the battle box to you. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people at Gen Con, I could be wrong, but it seems like a lot of people had their Raylan 1.0 army cards signed at Gen Con when Craig was there this year.
And actually, this one in the chat kind of coincides with the question that Josh, a ranger, here gave, which Josh was saying, given Heroscape figures are created in either single piece or a couple pieces for plastic molds, were there any issues that came up either with AOA figures or new figures where many had to be redesigned to fit those constraints?
I mean, that definitely happens more, I would say, on the production side, like once we actually have our sculpt files, whether they're ones we inherited or ones we received from our sculptor. Once we send them to the factory for them to make 3D prints, as they make the 3D prints, they have experts there that are like, oh, okay, well, we need to, thicken, the antenna of the bugs by however many tenths of a millimeter to prevent breakages. So it's just little tiny things like that. Nothing where something is reposed or greatly reduced or enlarged in size. Is just more to prevent breakages.
Okay.
Or the glide strikers, the way they go onto the base was modified ever so slightly, but is just
so small sometimes. Small modifications.
Like this will be yep.
And
no, I know that Genethrax was sorry.
No, that's fine.
I know that Genethrax was slightly changed too, but I think that was more of a appearance kind of pose, right, to get the jazz hands out of the way.
I have no idea what the story behind Zenithrax during the HasLab and the Zenithrax we got was. I would assume something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so like I said, I've mentioned before, you have to remember everything that came with the HasLab was not, that's a separate entity now. Like whatever was part of the HasLab, that is not what went into the Renegade design. Like they got the minis, they got the stats, whatever story that came with it, that was Chris. That was Chris's stuff.
Is it weird having to kind of design something that a lot of it has kind of been given to you? Is that kind of like a backwards process of designing, or is it helpful to kind of have all these things in one spot?
I feel like that's definitely a question that's better suited for Alex, Rowan, and Dylan. I guess for me, I would say it makes it a fun sandbox. It's not like, oh, hey, here are your constraints, but it's like, hey, here's what we have. Where are there gaps? Where can we fill those gaps? What are some needs? And so it gives you this system and things to play around with. So not to be like, oh, it's like this blueprint, but that's how I would view it. And then it's like, and how can we expand upon it? So.
And for those in the chat, kind of lead off to the question. Silas is asking, do you pick colors for the characters?
It is a team effort, I will say. So, Dylan, Rowan, and Alex do a great job. So one of the things we very briefly touched on was in the designer roundtable that we had during Renegade Con was walk us through the process from concept to final play test. But one thing that we didn't go over at all was art descriptions, and art descriptions are something that the R&D team, so Rowan, Alex, and Dylan, do where, take this hero or squad or whatever, and how are they going to look when they're on their army card? Well, that also comes into play with colors for the pre-painted figures. And sometimes colors are called out, and other times colors are described. So like a color will be called out if I'm provided like a specific Pantone color. And that happens when we've made something for that group before. So like I'll use Hellforge Manduker, for example. Like Hellforge Manduker's colors were easy because it's like, well, we did the Necrotech Wraith Riders and Ironlich Viscerat, and then eventually Gavarith, Lord of Ruin. So like those colors are already established, so we have Pantone colors and things like that. But sometimes colors are described. So it'll be like, oh, well, a creamy green, or, a red, like a dark red. And it's like, okay, well, is it a dark red as in a purpley red, or is it a dark red that like, sort of leans toward like brown? So literally, so I make these diagrams that go to our painter who does the paint masters. And it's literally just me like toying around with Photoshop and playing with different color palettes and stuff, and then running it through the devs, and then being like, okay, what do you think of this? What do you think of this? And this and this and this, and we all, collaborate. It's like, okay, well, maybe if you modify this color a little bit, and it's like, okay, I'll toy around with it and stuff. And so my previous experience for my previous jobs come into play there, which is handy. But then, so I would say it's definitely a collaborative effort, but you can't be like, I chose the colors for blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, we either agreed on them as a team. I mean, yes, I literally like worked on it in Photoshop, but I didn't pick the colors.
Which unit has the best color scheme, in your opinion, really, so far? Or best, meaning your favorite, of course.
My favorite? I mean, I feel like the answer is Halucia because he has the ugliest color.
Yeah,
That's really cool. That's cool trivia.
Good old Hal.
Yeah, good old Hal.
Yeah, I mean, there is one that I'm very much looking forward to. That will be revealed in the future, but I'm very excited for everyone to see Holoshot.
Oh yeah.
The team worked. I feel like we did a great job. So I'm very excited for Holoshot.
Very nice. We have Derek here asking, Lee, Heroes of the Grid is ending after 5 years of development. Is the intention for Heroscape to go longer than something like its original life of 6 years?
I would certainly hope so, because that's my job.
Yeah. We gotta keep Heroscape alive.
So now we know who to hold accountable.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, I think we know that it's selling really well, and as long as we keep up the support and the creativeness of the game, it'll be fine. Because we all know the way it was being packaged to stores and stuff is pretty much, for the most part, what brought it down. So, with it being packaged I think the battle box is clearly the winner for everyone to get. So as long as we keep making battle boxes,
you want to play Heroscape, get a battle box. That's
exactly
what I've been telling everybody.
Yeah, my friend got it.
The easiest entryway into the game.
He's like, I got 6 figures, and he keeps on asking me for all my old duplicates. I'm like, all right, I'll find some for you.
I created a local
it's the best gateway ever.
Where I live, but it's a bunch of like 8 through 12-year-olds.
Yeah.
So it's my son and husband do Taekwondo, so donated. I donated some extra battle boxes to the dojon, and so now I'm gonna have a whole community of 12-year-olds. Great. Be like, oh yeah, awesome. I can. So.
And Ben in the chat.
That's my local scene.
Ben in the chat has a very important question. I think it's a very, very important question. This is Lee. How awesome is Jeremy? And when did you discover how awesome he is?
What? Why is that in the chat? Hold on, man.
Jeremy's a delight.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
well,
Thank you.
Yeah, lore master right here.
Lord
no, it was
enthusiast.
no.
I'm not a
So
man.
before I even reached out to, well, initially Jeremy reached out, and somehow I got involved. It was like my first. Okay, so it was literally my first week. Dan was
Yeah,
like, "Hey, we got this email."
my first week, the first
from
week that I
Jeremy.
heard she got hired, I sent her an email.
Yeah, and I was just like, "What is going on?"
I didn't realize, I didn't know about. It's like
I was
contact
like,
instantly.
Wait, I was like, "Wait, what?" And I was like, "Well, maybe later." And then, yeah. But then before I reached out to Jeremy, I reached out to Ben, and I was like, "Hey, so I'm thinking of reaching back out to Jeremy to help with this lore council." And I was like, "What do you think?" He's like, "Well, yeah, obviously." I was like, "Okay, great." And then, we have another wonderful soul, also on the lore council.
Y'all gonna make me blush.
Yeah.
Thank you, though.
Yeah.
I appreciate
so
that.
I'm very happy and pleased. Don't disappoint us.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
crap.
there you go.
Oh no!
Whoa.
Pressure! I can't do it anymore.
Whoa.
That's crumble.
Whoa. And then
The weight is too heavy.
I have well, okay. Here's one, and I'm asking because someone asked me to ask this. Any possible hints on future terrain sets or ideas? A terrain. Asking that.
Well, I mean, there's the stuff that we talked about at Renegade Con, so
Mhm.
snow and swamp, and
Mhm.
then in
Mhm.
summer there will be lava,
Mhm.
and then in fall there will be roads,
Mhm.
and
I'm so excited for the roads. My cities come back.
and then obviously walls at some point in the year.
Ooh.
Originally walls were going to be a part of spring, but we're adding something exciting that I think people will be really excited about. So that'll be ready when it's ready.
Okay.
So the tough thing is I treat Heroscape like Star Wars, where it's, hey, it's this big licensed thing, and I don't want to make anyone I work with freak out because I'm talking about stuff that we're just
For sure. Oh, we
brainstorming.
understand if you can't say something.
Because I don't want to do anything to cause our relationship with Hasbro to like I don't want them to be concerned, So it's like we're thinking of awesome ideas, and there is something that we recently pitched that was approved that I am excited for. That's going to be in a thing for 2026 that I think people will really like. That is all I can say at the time. But yes, we're always cooking up new things.
Absolutely. And
the work continues.
And then we have this last question for Sir Jeremy himself, and he asks, "What's your favorite? What's your favorite flavor of ice?" I'm sorry. I want that.
Bruh, no,
oh my goodness.
he's lying. He's lying.
No,
Oh my goodness.
No, I'm kidding. I threw in that joke.
I almost asked that during the designer roundtable because I thought it'd be funny, but I didn't want to make anyone be like, well, why is Lee asking that? And I was like, well, I sort of wanted to do it to troll people because they were upset with that question.
It's going to become a meme someday, I guarantee you. It's going to be a meme.
It really is how it is. It's like,
yeah.
It's like what?
But no. Jerry.
Well, no. So I don't know if Ryan told you. I was like, I'll join around 9 or 9:10 after I have a bowl of ice cream for dinner.
That's what
amazing.
Like
What flavor?
Yes. What flavor?
What flavor?
You have to go pull up.
She can't answer everything, guys. She can't answer everything.
That's to be determined. That flavor. Okay.
And
now we just need a collab with Ben and Jerry's.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that Heroscape Ben and Jerry's ice cream. I'd be all over that.
Oh, some crunch.
Little hex shaped chips in it. Like.
Oh, for sure.
They do all kinds of weird stuff.
That'd be the crunch, little hex shaped whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, it's kind of a big deal that Army Painter is having some officially sponsored Heroscape colors.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
wild.
I
That was
know.
That is
really- that's
huge,
super
yeah.
Hasn't
Oh my
talked a lot
God.
about it, but as someone who paints, like that's a pretty significant. Like they usually do
Huge.
that for pretty high brands. So like to see Jandor blue is kind of a small little like dream come true of mine. So I don't know who was
Yeah.
involved with that, but I think it's a really cool
Nice.
addition to the painting and escape scene.
Yeah, Dan and I, and Leisha and Jeannie, met with Army Painter a lot on that. So
Nice.
we're very excited. So it is a whole process.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't take nearly as long as making a figure, but it is still a
Mhm.
process.
Because
So-
I called it. I never mentioned it when it was like, oh, we're teaming up with Army Painter. Here's like a link to their store. And I was like, that doesn't seem like a team. Like I always felt like there was more coming. So I'm happy to see that set come
Yeah.
out. And there's some unique colors in there. So I'm excited to.
Yeah.
Well, I think
Well,
I
and-
own
and
most of
they-
them.
Well, and they've also recently really, really punched it up with the Fanatic line.
Fanatic,
too.
yeah, is
And and that's what's in the set. So
All right. No, but the actual question from Jeremy is, and it might be this is a good one to end off this interview for now. And Lee, we really do appreciate you coming on and
Yes,
speaking
thank you for
with
joining us.
oh yeah, for sure. Thank you for having me.
It was a treat. But Jeremy does ask, what is your favorite here classic character, Jeremy?
Well, it's just like if you know how about the customs community, how they just literally just hit bash.
Oh,
off of stuff,
customs, right.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if you could create a custom
Yeah.
from the Heroscape universe, what would it be?
Can it be based on an IP?
Yeah, I mean that's what customs are for.
Yeah, that's what Heroscape's all about.
Anything goes in the custom world.
It's so hard to pick one. Like, if it were Star Wars, I'd pick Kit Fisto or Plo Koon.
Ooh, yeah.
If it were
And
like,
to mention, I don't know if you know this.
if it
Lee.
were like film based, I'd pick the Bride from Kill Bill.
Mm.
That's actually something that'd be fun to have.
Oh my god, and that would be
Yeah.
so cool. Like
Mhm.
you could have, you have like the Bride, and then you've got Go with like her ball chain thing, and
Heck
then
yeah.
that'd be awesome.
That's
Yeah.
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 Never
No,
thought
I
of
don't
that.
know if
80s
you
action heroes.
ever had heard, by the way. And this, I probably shouldn't mention it because it's depressing to think about. But back in the 04, 010 line, they were actually working on Star Wars Heroscape. They had
I
designs,
know.
they had cards, they had stats, they had everything, and Hasbro just never said green light. I don't know. But there was stuff made for it. There was plans for a Star Wars Heroscape. So
Yeah. All my time.
let that float in the air.
Yeah, all my time working with FFG and Asmodee and like any Star Wars game I touched, I was like, "Where's Kit Fisto? Why isn't Kit Fisto in this?" And they're like, "Why does Kit Fisto need to be in this?" I'm like, "Have you ever seen the short from Gendy where he slices ships in half with his lightsaber?" I understand it's not
Miles.
canon, but how amazing is that?
It is to
like
me.
that is why I fell in love with Kit Fisto. Like
Mm.
that was
Nice.
amazing. And then I did him dirty in the movies.
Mm.
Dang.
Well, we could talk about Star Wars some
Well,
other time.
yeah.
That's
I
a
know,
whole
yeah,
other
yeah.
black
I'm
hole.
holding
That
back
does
from
help.
commenting because I really want to join.
No,
but
no.
Don't it derail.
No, none of that.
It's part of the conversation. She chose Star Wars as the IP.
true.
No, that's fine.
The Heroscape
only a
custom.
logical jump.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Or Kill Bill.
Yeah, Kill Bill.
Kill Bill.
I like
which-
Kill Bill.
That one was surprising.
Kill
I
Bill,
like that.
yeah,
I like
Kill
Kill
Bill's
Bill.
cool. Kill Bill's cool.
Yeah.
Silas does have one more question that popped up on here and just piqued my interest, so I'm gonna say it. Silas says, so I know Tales of Valhalla has made a stop motion series for Heroscape, but would a Heroscape movie streaming series excite you? If it did, who would you make the lead?
Like the lead character.
Or like
it
I don't know if
depends
you
on the
meant
story to
director or
tell.
something.
Yeah, the lead.
Oh.
The,
Oh, direct.
Maybe.
interesting.
I guess that's what do you mean by lead? Like who's the lead
As-
character? Who's directing
Probably
it?
mean lead
who's
character.
producing it?
Star Wars Escape Comfort. No.
Usually when they talk about a
Term. It
lead,
was
they
a
do talk about the
pre-project.
director.
Yeah,
I
I
probably.
know.
Whoever would lead the charge or something. Depends on in the industry who you would want, really.
I mean, the first one that comes to mind is Peter Jackson.
That's what I was thinking too. Perfectly honest.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, there's directors I like, but I was like, oh no, they'd be terrible for Heroscape.
Wes Anderson for Scape is what I'm
Now
picturing.
Peter Jackson. We'll just get
Yeah.
get Peter Jackson another 6-movie series, but for Heroscape.
Yeah, one is like I love Steven Spielberg, but he's not for Heroscape. And it's like, I love Quentin Tarantino, but we don't need a movie where everyone's sitting around a table talking and then like they have their feet propped up, you know? Like, no.
So Raylan walks in and starts planning it out and just
Zoom in on Blockburner's toes.
I know, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think Peter Jackson is someone who, even if you have him as an advisory type role, he's someone that would really be like, okay, let's explore this and let's flesh everything out, you know? And
like
make it...
James Cameron, I think would be good for world building.
Yeah.
But my gut
James
says
Cameron.
Peter Jackson.
Peter Jackson would probably work with a good schedule. We could ask. And
we could ask Peter Jackson. I've got his email right now. No.
Whoa! Wait! Whoa!
No.
No,
Obviously joking. No.
No. See, now here's another option.
Okay, wait.
Henry Cavill.
I'm sorry.
Henry Cavill, who's currently working.
Silas is clarifying. And actually, it's my answer. It might be the answer. But Silas says the lead does imply what actor is leading it.
Oh, it's actor, not director. Okay, heard. We're all talking about director choices. Hey, they make all the.
But Henry Cavill would be nice.
Because he's obsessed with Warhammer. He's a super big nerd.
He is.
He refused to work with Witcher because they wouldn't use book plot. Like, I mean, he will follow the lore to the T. So if we hand him all the Heroscape lore and say, "Can you make a movie out of this?" Bro, Henry Cavill would destroy. Yeah. And
but what are you thinking, Lee? For the doctor?
See, for me, I just have like ideas for like. I'm not saying like, oh, these are bit characters, but oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the name, and all I can think of is Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Dave Bautista as one of the Dreadnoughts. Like he obviously has to be one of the Dreadnoughts, because but by no means would the Dreadnoughts be like a lead thing, but I just think that would be funny. It's sort of perfect. Especially if he were like the shark.
Nice, yeah.
He'd be good as the Gorillinator too.
Dave Bautista as all the Dreadnoughts.
Yeah.
Dave Bautista as all the Dreadnoughts.
Yeah, I'm good with that.
He could do it too. I mean, he's talented.
And and Silas says thank you for the brainstorming for that.
Aldano is Sonlin. Nice.
I could.
If we do make
I guess that's the other thing too. Is like, how old are all these characters? Well, like that's the other thing, because like you don't want to do the thing like, oh, well, this person's actually 50, but you're having them play a 20-year-old? That's weird. And it's like, well, I understand that's how Hollywood does things, but I don't know.
Oh gosh, not the boys in
here.
Because
it's like, I don't know.
The boys in
like, well, how old is Raylan? Because like naturally,
she's
because
ancient.
we just talked about Kilda, I was like, oh, Uma Thurman would be so cool as Raylan, but I'm like, but she's probably too old to be Raylan. And Charlize Theron, she's sweet, but no, probably not.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. I'd have to think about that one.
All right. Well, I think that's how we will end the interview. And usually at the end of these podcasts, we usually give final thoughts or plugs. But it's been nearly 2.5 hours, and still want to do a backstage at the end of this. So I'm just gonna bow us out, and just say for anybody who's been on the panel, link in the description below to check out these guys for Ranger, for Croatoan, for Joe Crazy, for Acrobatics, for Heroscaper, and again we do appreciate you so much coming on, and we hope you can return someday.
Oh, for sure.
And chat with
Absolutely.
us, because we had a fun time. Thank you, everybody in the chat. I can't say all the names. I can't even read all the things because it was over 100 messages tonight. My goodness, we had an active chat tonight. Nice. Thank you guys so much, and thank you for your support. I guess I'll just say that, I mean, again, I'm Ryan, Tales of Valhalla, subscribe, support, whatever, and all these wonderful guys. And this Wednesday, I'll be reading through all this stuff again in a specific clarity, just so I can wrap my head around everything that was revealed last Friday. So join me for that this Wednesday. Thank you all for watching. You have a purpose in your life. Find it, pursue it, live it, and we will see you guys next time. Later now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.